teen, one dream, and one big break.
Whoa.
Demi Lovato is Sonny,
Cool.
an average teenager who's come to Hollywood
I can't believe I'm really here.
to live her dream.
So Disney Channel's Sonny with a Chance went through a lot of iterations before coming to the show the fans know today. As you've heard so many times before, show business is all about getting that pilot script to 30 pages, finding a producer, pitching it to a network, yada yada yada. And this was actually conceived under the title of Sketchpad, a nod to the sketch comedy premise.
It's not on purpose when he blows his top. He's dolphin ball.
Ooh, the mammal.
So Sonny with a Chance was going to be called Sketchpad. Early on, the main character's original name was Molly Monroe, and the show centered around her experiences joining the teen comedy sketch show, so it wasn't that different right off the bat. But then it became a show called Welcome to Mollywood, keeping the idea of the Midwestern girl heading to Hollywood and just kind of making it a little bit more funny. Then in 2008, Disney Channel officially announced the series as Welcome to Mollywood and said it's going to be this half-hour live-action comedy for the 2008-2009 season. And during this phase, the protagonist was still Molly, and the title was a pun on Hollywood. But then they changed the name from Molly to Holly with an I, like Holli, and then it's Welcome to Hollywood, but with an I. It was all about the fun wordplay, I guess, and really wanted to have that pun. That's when they switched gears and they actually reimagined her as Sonny Monroe.
Sonny Monroe.
That's me.
And changed the title one final time to Sonny with a Chance. This is like a final title that the Los Angeles Times critic Robert Lloyd speculated. Sonny with a Chance of Rain. Like the character's name in the Hollywood setting, it's just cute. The sketch program was originally going to be called Tawny and Friends, and actually be centered around Tawny before it was changed to the familiar So Random in the final series. It kind of reminds me of when Demi Lovato was a kid and on Barney. She's joining a TV show, what can you do? All these title and character name revisions were probably because of Disney, as they refined the concept to perfectly fit like a more optimistic tone and make more catchy wordplay to have the vibe of the show. It was created by this guy named Steve Marmel, and he also created the pilot. He was experienced, known for animation before, and for Disney he partnered with Brian Robbins, who was in the sketch comedy world. He actually co-created all that, and he served as an executive producer on this show, Sonny with a Chance, which was perfect to bring together for this. I always thought that this was a reference to all that. His producing partner, Sharla Sumster Bridget, also had experience on all that and joined as a producer as well. So you can see those Nickelodeon elements being a part of it. Another producer was Michael Feldman, who co-wrote the show's pilot, and together they even cited that NBC's 30 Rock is going to be just how Sonny with a Chance will be. The president of entertainment at the time, Gary Marsh, was the champion of the series and its concept, identifying following your dream as its core Disney Channel theme.
I guess dreams really do come true.
That way, they had no choice but to get it. It's described as like a hybrid show, meaning that's traditional sitcom storyline, and also had fully produced sketch comedy segments. It's like a show within a show. And this format was very new for Disney at the time, especially with those variety show elements. It was ambitious because, I don't know, it's not easy to do something like that well. Even all that, struggled to figure out what it was at different points. It's not every day we have shows like that. And sure, So Random felt like a real teen comedy show, even if the whole background didn't. They wanted to follow Sonny and actually her experiences in the Hollywood lot. Disney Channel was coming off of their hugely successful sitcoms and movies at the time, like Hannah Montana, Wizards. It defined the mid-2000s. So there was a lot of expectations to create another great show.
Time for talking's over. Because So Random's on. It's my favorite show.
Now, they even try to get music out of it. Whether it's about music or not, they try to make sure the people sing. They wanted to create multi-talented young stars to act in TV shows movies, and launch music careers, because then that just makes them seem like a better company. And obviously Demi Lovato had just done Camp Rock in 2008.
She's really good.
And she was with the Jonas Brothers. Like, it added so much hype. She even sung with them at Disney's Hollywood Records. Originally, ironically, it was supposed to be a vehicle for the Jonas Brothers, but Lovato's breakout performance as Michi Torres made her a natural choice to carry a series of her own, especially before the boys. Which is funny, because obviously Jonas came at one point. When they greenlit Sonny with a Chance with the goal of building Demi's momentum and cross-promoting her talents, Gary explained that Lovato's casting was to continue her affiliation with the network. So this entire show was to just keep Demi going. But it's weird because unlike Miley and Selena, they became household names through their series and then expanded into music and films, but Demi's musical debut came before the sitcom, which is different. And because of the show, Demi actually cemented Lovato in the Disney Channel cornerstone in 2009, completing the network's roster of stars. They wanted to do something in this post-Hannah Montana era by being kind of adjacent to exactly what that was, making something slightly more meta, like a comedy about the entertainment industry, instead of just a double life. That could satirize teen fame while also kind of making commentary about the upcoming social media and all the internet popularity. With Sonny, Disney targeted the same tween demographic, but added a fresh format. As Marsh noted, the series reinforced Disney's core themes of pursuing their dreams, and that's what they did.
I'm on the show. Oh, I mean, so random. I'm in the show. I'm in Hollywood. You. What? Oh my gosh.
Nick also had success with sketch comedy from all that, and finding its new hits like iCarly and the more modern teen Nick it became, Sonny with a Chance kind of gave Disney Channel its own trend. Do we want to say it's copying? I don't think so. It's definitely a more character-developed show than all that. This is a way of almost one-upping everybody. So Sonny with a Chance centered around finding the right lead, and obviously they had Demi Lovato. She was 16 at the time, and already a 10-year showbiz veteran by 2008. Oh my god. Of course, she was in Barney and Friends, and then in As the Bell Rings. Disney noticed her talents and got her through these early projects. Ironically, she auditioned for that show Jonas by the Jonas Brothers and didn't get the part. But like, that was a blessing in disguise, because Joe Jonas actually said to her, if you had gotten Jonas, you wouldn't have been in Camp Rock. Instead, Lovato landed in Camp Rock, premiered 2008, and became a major hit for Disney. That's when she also was brought to Sonny with a Chance. And she actually got both roles around the same time in summer 2007. It was probably because she was such a gifted comedian in addition to her beautiful singing voice. The cast fell into place all after that, and they announced Tiffany Thornton as Tawny Hart, Brandon Michael Smith, Nico Harris, Doug Brochu, Grady Mitchell, Allison Ashley Arm, and of course Sterling Knight. It's also funny to think what might have been, because one actress, Bridget Mendler, auditioned for Sonny Monroe before Demi Lovato eventually got the part.
Sonny!
Sonny? Sonny? What am I doing here?
And then she would have never gotten Good Luck Charlie. Can you imagine that universe? The Los Angeles Times called Sonny with a Chance a hit from the very moment it was announced, which is such a big start for a long fall. They filmed an unaired pilot directed by Lee Shalit Chamel, and it was more like the Welcome to Mollywood version of the show. It launched in February 2009, and the network treated it like a major premiere event. Even aired the first 2 back-to-back episodes. Thank God, because we needed to see Chad Dillon Cooper to believe in the show.
Disguise yourself just to play the game smarter. I'm finally seeing clear, and I won't go down, I'll make it out of here. And I won't care what they say, it's a game I'll gladly play. And if they get in my way, I'll finally take them down a peg. Now let's go make life so hard.
Okay, Season 1, Episode 1 is called Sketchy Beginnings, which is really cool name for a pilot. So we start with a So Random sketch between Nico and Grady. The joke is that he's a dolphin boy and water squirts out of his head when he sees a pretty girl. Weird concept already. It's clear Dolphin Boy is a sketch, much like SNL.
He's Dolphin Boy.
We see Sonny Monroe watching from her bedroom. The theme song kind of explains what happens, and we're thrown right into it. Sonny's visiting the set for the first time, and her mom is super excited because this is the first time they actually left. They meet Marshall, who's the head of the show, kind of like the Lorne Michaels. Very quirky. And we're introduced to the main hub of the show, the prop room, which is a very unique idea, like a prop room being where everybody convenes. That's really cool. Sonny meets Nico and Grady for the first time, and Tawny, who immediately doesn't like her.
She's our newest cast member, Tawn. You remember we said goodbye to Mandy on our last show?
I remembered the goodbye, I just didn't think there was gonna be a hello.
It feels like kind of a 30 Rock for kids, like the quirky main character and the diva best friend, but I like that they both want to be a comedian. Tawny kind of warns her.
Let's think of the studio as a school. I'm the head cheerleader, and you're the new kid.
And Sonny is like, whoa, I don't know if this workplace is what it's cracked up to be. They do a Queen Bee sketch with Tawny as the queen. When the Queen Bee sketch isn't working, Sonny makes a suggestion that everybody finds really funny, which I don't know how. It's not that funny, she's just being weird. Tawny gets really upstaged, and it becomes a big deal. Who ends up ripping her stuffed toy. Next thing you know, Tawny is threatened by everything that happens.
Now, just like that deer, you get up and dust off your antlers and angrily kick in our headlights.
You want me to kick her in her headlights?
No. Look,
Sonny actually tries to befriend Tawny.
Aw, a peace offering? Well, now it's a million peace offerings.
And Sonny accidentally burns her hand. Oh, so things cannot get worse between them, and Marshall has to take care of it.
I don't, and let's see how funny it is without me.
But I can't do the sketch without you.
But Sonny finally stands up to Tawny, kind of like a metaphor for getting used to this new place where she's like, you know what, I'm gonna make this place my own type energy. Next thing you know, the Sis Boom Buzz sketch is Demi rapping about the Queen Bee, and there's no way that was the entire show.
Okay, people, great show.
Tawny and Sonny briefly make up, but it's clear that this is going to be an ongoing issue. And the pilot ends with Sonny taking one last look into the prop room, placing down a new prop from the Bee sketch. Sonny with a Chance is a pretty good start. You get to hear about this unique, quirky girl that kind of wants to be a comedian. She gets the chance of a lifetime, clearly, and the pilot focuses on the jarring transition from hometown to show business.
you know, it's not every day and I hand my beautiful daughter over to show business.
Unlike other shows like show business, like Hannah Montana, Naked Brothers Band, Jonas, Sonny kind of focuses on like the cultural landscape, which is very unique in that genre. Looking back, I probably like it because I idealized a world where I could be on set all day making funny videos. But the reality of this show is that everybody's kind of like a stereotype of a wacky character, and the only thing grounding it is Demi's authenticity at the role.
Are you shredding fan mail?
Not mine.
It feels endearing, but you don't know why. And for some reason, this was like one of my favorite shows at this age. It feels more like a Nickelodeon pilot than I feel like a Disney Channel pilot even.
Sis Boom Buzz! Sis Boom Buzz! Sis Boom Buzz!
Like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody didn't move into the hotel in the pilot. It was more about them using the hotel as a way to be popular in school. Hannah Montana is kind of the opposite of this, where this girl has a secret about being famous and just doesn't tell anybody. But it's more about the interpersonal relationships and how it changes her life to be famous around her friends and her father. And Wizards is, of course, more fantasy, where we don't get to see them become wizards, they just kind of are at the beginning of the show. Yeah, so Sonny's walking into this. It's the first Disney Channel pilot in a while to kind of put us at the same POV of the main character, where I feel like I'm learning about So Random too.
Then I guess, just like Putty, the sketch is no longer with us.
The sketches are really funny, and I love how it's weaved into the plot, the conflict between Tawny and Sonny, because it makes for a major blowout when they actually do the performance. And I'm excited because it sets the groundwork for this show being their entire lives. It stinks because I Forgot that Chad Dylan Cooper isn't until the next episode, making me feel like this pilot's slightly weaker than I thought. Like, imagine they never got to series. Like, I wish they had Chad Dylan Cooper in the first episode to kind of show how funny this world can really be. I'm not sure if that was like a choice by Disney, an executive, or what, to give him his own episode, but I definitely think it would have drew me into the show a lot more, as the show becomes like completely about Mackenzie Falls. So yeah, overall, Sonny with a Chance, very effective pilot. It's polished really well, but it's like only really surviving off of Demi's authenticity. The show itself is kind of like a tween 30 Rock with less funny jokes. And I'm betraying my younger self because this used to be my favorite show, but it's just not all it's cracked up to be. And I don't know if that's because of time or truth. But I don't know, what do you guys think of the Sonny with a Chance pilot? So the second episode is cleverly named West Coast Story, probably because Sonny Monroe is still getting comfortable with the West Coast culture. And it makes me think that a lot of these writers must have grown up on the East Coast or the Midwest, because the differences Sonny experiences in this show feel very accurate. This episode starts out with a sketch, kinda like the other episodes would, but this one's starring Grady. It's basically a bunch of people ordering at a Five Guys-esque place, and every time they get something, it gets thrown at them, which is kind of clever. I like it a little bit better than Dolphin Boy.
Hi, I was here 2 seconds ago. You pelted me with chicken bits.
Chicken bits! I really don't think these sketches have to do with the rest of the plot, though, because this episode is very special, and I'll tell you why in a second. Sonny is still having trouble fitting in with the core cast, not really knowing what her place is. You know, like Tawny's kind of the diva, Nico and Grady are the comic relief, and Zora is the more erratic one. I don't even know what to categorize Zora as. So Sonny is getting lunch in the studio food court. She runs into the infamous Chad Dylan Cooper from Mackenzie Falls, and I was surprised they didn't introduce this character in the pilot. That is not how I remember it. But you know what? I'm telling you, Mackenzie Falls is my favorite part of this entire show. Chad Dylan Cooper, Sterling Knight, is such a phenomenal actor, and I've never believed anybody in a role more than Chad Dylan Cooper. Sonny is immediately smitten, not in a romantic way, but like in a fan way.
You're Mackenzie on Mackenzie Falls.
And apparently you're Madge.
Yes. No. Madge is my waitress character, and all of this belongs to Madge too.
And finally, the perks of living in LA are starting to come to her. But it does interfere with her relationships with her friends, because the cast of So Random is famously their enemy. Kind of like the Krusty Krab and the Chum Bucket. It's comedy versus drama in this universe. And it's one of my favorite aspects of this show in general. I feel like here, when it's portrayed as high school, it's like the popular kids are Mackenzie Falls, and So Random is the nerd table. Chad's speech when he accepts this trophy is so ridiculous. Listen to this.
You know, a lot of people would say that it's so random that we won this award, but it's not so random. It's never so random, because Mackenzie Falls rules. Thank you, tweens!
Apparently the beef is that they keep getting an award that So Random will never get, probably because of that pretentiousness. So there's actually a reason for them to be a little frustrated. Sonny plays Peacemaker, and we really lean into her positive character. Like, she's so into getting everybody together that she actually invites both of them to a dinner. This idea goes horribly wrong pretty quickly. This peaceful dinner is messed up pretty quickly as they find out they're all glued to their seats. The whole peace dinner is to kind of give them their statue back, because I guess So Random stole it from them to kind of teach them a lesson, and Chad Dylan Cooper steals it back by gluing them to the seats. The cast of So Random is very fed up with Sonny because her positive attitude is getting them into more trouble. Sonny decides to play hardball when she sees that they actually made fun of her on the internet.
Okay, that's it. Now it's personal. I promise I'm going over to Mackenzie Falls and I'm not coming back. Yay! Without our parking space, our lunch table, and our dignity.
And even back then, I guess the internet had a big influence over people. This first interaction between Sonny and Chad is so interesting because he's clearly so manipulative but believes in everything he's doing. Sonny is open-minded and believes in everything she's doing. When she confronts him about these issues, she expects a productive, constructive conversation, but instead the background changes as Mackenzie Falls is being filmed, which is perfect because Chad Dylan Cooper is so much in his own world that everything he believes is almost a set. It's constructed, and it's all under his guise.
But the bad blood between our two shows has run too deep for too long to be healed by a bowl of egg salad, and even the best of intentions. Put your sweet little dreams of peace to bed.
What just happened? happened.
Sunny's embarrassed that she couldn't really get out of him what she needed to, so all of her castmates are fed up with her once again, and she's just trying to keep the peace here. She challenges them to a duel where they can take their parking spot back, which Mackenzie Falls overruled, and they'll give the trophy back. If they both bet something, the winner will get all of it.
We'll do it, okay? And when we win, you have to go on your show and say that Mackenzie Falls is better than So Random.
Fine. But when we win, you have to say something nice about So Random.
No. We're not doing that. You already told me your terms. You don't get to keep adding stuff. No, these are my terms. You don't get to use my terms. All right, fine, okay, deal. Musical chairs.
Fine. See you at noon.
Yes, you will.
It's musical chairs. I don't know why this has to be the challenge, but I like that there's a challenge nonetheless. It's very game show reality TV-esque, which fits the Hollywood vibe. And you could tell that these two casts do not get along, and I love it. Sunny has to end the episode doing something really deceptive to kind of make things even between her and Chad Dillon Cooper, who specifically took advantage of her in that moment.
You tricked me.
No, I was acting.
Having won this competition, the cast of So Random likes Sunny again, I guess, and the feud with Mackenzie Falls only begins in this episode, which is why I wish it happened in the pilot. They even get Chad Dillon Cooper to shout them out on Mackenzie Falls, which doesn't even make sense.
Time for talking's over. Because So Random's on. It's my favorite show.
As if this episode weren't enough, the next episode, season 1, episode 3, is called Sunny at the Falls. This one is unique because despite the fact that they just had this really gruesome fight between Demi and Chad Dillon Cooper, Sunny starts to see the positives of the Mackenzie Falls side. As So Random, they're kind of given the last bite of the pie for everything.
Porterhouse steak.
They get surf and turf and we get scarf and barf.
The fact that they're even competing with other networks makes me feel like it's not like SNL in the sense that like SNL isn't really worried about getting an award over a dramatic show, so the competition's less there. It's kind of like a cheating episode where Sunny and Chad keep getting closer and Chad starts to show her the perks of what it's like to be on an award-winning show. Chad Dillon Cooper really connects with Sunny when he brings in this like fantasy element, like picture this, or life is a set, and Sunny just falls for that. That's like something they have in common, despite him being out of reality.
Why don't you take a break from So Random? Come hang out at the Falls. Mackenzie Falls.
The more she hangs out with him, though, the more she has to hide it from So Random, and it becomes even more sketchy. No pun intended. The cast of So Random try to get the same perks that Mackenzie Falls does, but the lunch lady does not buy it. While Sunny is at the Falls, the cast of So Random catch her there. She is so embarrassed, like she was going behind their backs just to hang out with him. Obviously, they approach her about it, and she's pretty defensive, basically saying that they didn't treat her right, so she found a better cast.
You have seen the last of Sonny Monroe. I mean, other than, you know, the fact when we perform. Yeah. But other than that, you have seen the last of Sonny Monroe.
Ooh, I love this twist on such a generic plot. Like, it's so interesting to see characters have this kind of argument. We see how pretentious Mackenzie Falls is when they have a lobster dinner in the same lunchroom that So Random is eating pizza. And it's definitely like this in LA. There's the vibe of like, there's rich and poor and not a lot of middle class opportunities. And of course, Sunny wants to be on the better side. I mean, if it wasn't for the way So Random treats her, I'm sure she would still pursue comedy. But she gets more and more like Mackenzie Falls, so far as to be wearing the same costume. Zora tries to come in and save Sunny, which is really sweet of her. I feel like she, out of all the characters, care about Sunny the most and really see the best in her, which is sweet.
I need to speak to Sonny, and the big palooka here won't let me through.
There's also a moment where we find out that the cast of So Random does occasionally watch Mackenzie Falls, which is really funny. Earlier in the episode, when Sunny was feeling unappreciated with her cast, it was because she made a superhero sketch that nobody liked. So in order to make it up to her and convince her that Mackenzie Falls is not her home, but So Random is, they dress up as the characters Sunny created. And there is no better way to try to apologize to a friend. They show up as superheroes to set, which is probably illegal because people are working. You know how much it costs to rent a studio? I don't either. But they come in, save the day, and bring Sunny back to their side.
You guys are making up?
Yes, we are.
But that ruins Chad's plan.
What plan?
I don't have a plan.
Sure you do. Keep you guys fighting with each other so Mackenzie Falls can stay #1.
Please. Don't talk without a script.
Finally doing the sketch Sonny envisioned, and it's a really sweet episode. I feel like this is where the show keeps going uphill for me. In the next episode, You've Got Fan Mail, Season 1, Episode 4, we have more internal troubles. So taking a break from Chad, Dylan, Cooper, it's more of a Sonny versus Tawny episode. Sonny's whole thing is that she's the only cast member that isn't getting fan mail, and it's almost kind of embarrassing. Tawny, of course, rubs it in, being like, nobody really likes you, and I don't know why she has to be a bully this time. Like, you just convinced her to come back to set, and now, in this episode, you're telling her she has no fans?
I'm not gonna let this bother me. I'm way too mature.
There's kind of a B-plot in this episode for the first time in the show. Grady and Nico find this mysterious box that belongs to Zora, and she's just like, stay out of my business, pretty much. And they're like, no, we're curious, what's in the box? Sonny is so desperate for admiration, which I would be too, because this is embarrassing, that she writes a letter as a fan to herself on the show. She puts on this whole performance, reads it in front of Marshall, and is like, wow, I get fan mail, see? But Marshall takes this and runs with it. He's like, let's invite them to the show and actually show them your first fan. She even has to run to the other side of the phone line to pretend to be this fan.
Is that a cow?
Yeah, and it's right behind you.
But wait, it doesn't stop there. Since they invited the fan on the show, Sonny has to dress up as him. And really, she just has like a blonde wig and a chin stash, or a chin beard, I don't know what they're called, and tries to prove to Marshall that she can't be there for the show. But then Tawny comes in and has to double down on the realisticness of this, because God forbid she finds out that Sonny is doing this.
Why do you like her?
Why don't you like her?
How do you know I don't like her?
Call it dude's intuition.
So Sonny has to keep up this facade so much longer, to a point where she even encounters Grady and Nico and has to explain it. She's just really good at playing a guy in this scenario. Throughout this episode, Sonny and Chad are kind of more buddy-buddy, not in the sense that they're friends, but they kind of give each other advice, which is really sweet, and not having Mackenzie Falls be the forefront of the episode makes it a little bit more interesting. Now here's where the twist comes in. Tawny hits on Sonny as this guy named Eric, and she's just wildly uncomfortable. When she catches her hiding Sonny's fan mail in the pillow, it's clear that Sonny was getting fan mail all along and Tawny was just hiding it.
You've been hiding my fan mail.
You're pretending to be your own fan?
You committed mail fraud.
Well, you committed fan fraud.
Fan fraud's not illegal.
Mail fraud's not embarrassing.
She refuses to admit that it could be possibly out of jealousy and just says it's to like keep her in her place or whatever. She teaches her a lesson by telling Marshall he should invite Eric to be on the show physically and meeting Sonny, just to get her in a worse situation than she already is. She agrees to it, not wanting to give up the facade quite yet, and the plot thickens. They try to call out Eric, but nobody comes. Just before Sonny's ready to admit that she made up the whole thing, Chad Dylan Cooper comes out in the fake costume. And I guess it ends with Sonny getting away with it. It's cool because they don't have a lot of conversations about what's going on, but when Sonny actually expresses that it's important to her to have a fan, Chad Dylan Cooper, he empathizes and we get to see a better side of him. Makes it a lot more complicated in a good way.
Why do you care?
I don't know, let's give it a shot.
I love characters that have that love-hate relationship because it always makes you want to see more about it. In the end, with the B-plot, Nico and Grady actually open the box and Zora is there with her head through the box. It was all just a prank to mess with them. I see how people think this could be parroting SNL, but I definitely get an All That vibe. You know, the Nickelodeon show, All That? It was also a sketch show. Maybe because it's a lot more family friendly and that's kind of what these teenagers are doing in this world, but it adds a little bit of context as to what I'm expecting more episodes to be like. The more Chad wants to be taken seriously as an actor, the funnier he is, as opposed to Sonny, who is seeking out to be a comedian. Like, she wants to be funny, but Chad wants to be serious, and it's so much more fun to watch somebody try to be serious and not achieve it than someone trying to be funny and not achieve it. You know what I mean? The moment where Tawny opens up to Sonny as this fake guy Eric is really telling of her character, because she'd rather open up to this strange guy as opposed to Sonny.
It's just she's a lot better than I thought she was gonna be.
Really? I mean, really?
Yeah, but I'd never tell her that.
In a way, I feel like Tawny is London Tipton and Sunny is Maddie. That's what the show kind of feels like. Maybe I'm watching a lot of Sweet Life lately, but I'm definitely getting that dynamic of spoiled and rich and humble and caring. Although I feel like Maddie has a sense of entitlement and Sunny is just perky and optimistic. The next episode is season 1, episode 5, Cheetah Girls. It's kind of a play on the Cheetah Girls from Disney Channel. I used to love the Cheetah Girls, but we can't really get into that right now. So Sunny and Tawny do this sketch where they're basically two checkout girls, similar to Grady being the Five Guys worker in the sketch before, but this time it's them essentially judging people that come into the store, one by one.
Check out his vest.
His vest? Check out his boots.
His boots? Check out his hair.
Yeah, I'm right here. I want you to check out my items, all right?
Check out your items. Check out his attitude.
And this is the episode where we get a little insight into the classroom side of things. See, on sets, when you have actors that are under 18, they're required to have a certain amount of school hours to kind of keep them educated and make sure they don't miss out on a fulfilling life. And this is highlighted a lot in this episode. We see the teacher for the first time, and she'll make a lot of appearances as we go further.
We were just really excited about our sketch. I mean, I think I even saw you laughing.
That's impossible. I haven't laughed since I got out of the Navy.
Sunny gets a D on her math test and isn't too worried about it until her mother shows up to set. She demands a private meeting with her and Marshall and the teacher to say that if she doesn't get her grade up from a D, that she will be leaving so random. Whoo! The stakes are high this time. Marshall is hilarious in this scene though. I cannot get over it.
We had an agreement. Grades first, show second.
What do you say that we just, I don't know, switch it up this week? Show first, grade second, who's with me?
Scratching, not voting. Scratching.
And I noticed Sunny's mom is just like all the other moms on TV. There's only like two categories. There's like the sarcastic moms that like to be down to earth and like realistic about it, tend to be overbearing, and then the super laid back moms that don't care what their kids do and maybe a little delusional. I feel like Sunny's mom is a little bit of both in this scenario. That's where you could tell the difference between Disney and Teen Nick. I feel like Carrie Martin is also a little bit more dynamic than say Big Time Rush's mom on that show. So Tawny and Sunny are worried because they finally got the best sketch ever and it could land in like a movie, a spin-off show, you know, kind of like how SNL had successes. They're like on the verge of getting that with the characters they created. But if Sunny's off the show, she cannot play this character. And they're supposed to debut that night. Tawny insists that Sunny tries to cheat. And Sunny is obviously given a dilemma. If she doesn't cheat, she lets the whole cast down. If she does cheat, she lets herself down. Which is so hard for an optimistic person like this. Like, she's given a really tough call. She tries to commit to studying instead with the help of Zora.
Ugh, focus! Sorry, just one more time and try and keep it simple.
This is a circle.
Zora's probably a genius. I don't know. She's a genius sometimes, but then other times she's an airhead that's kind of crazy. I feel like Zora is whatever the cast needs her to be, and not in a good way. I do like her when she's more on Sunny's side and a lot more a team player, but for the most part, she's kind of like a recurring joke of a character. As she's tutoring Sunny, Sunny is 100% like me in high school. She just daydreams all the time about her performance. Yeah, I used to write episodes and scripts when I was in math, and I had a D as well. Zora's frustrated because she cannot get her to focus. So Sunny decides to actually cheat. She writes on her arms and is super guilty about it to a point where when it's time to actually take the test, Sunny outs herself.
All right, class, you may now.
I'm a cheater!
Then there we go, back into Marshall's office, this time Sunny and Tawny. Marshall is super disappointed, which a responsible adult would be. I don't think he should be allowing any of this. He definitely shouldn't let them do this sketch if they're not gonna get good grades.
You for telling her to almost cheat.
No, I told her to cheat. She ruined it with the almost.
But they reassign the roles to Nico and Grady. So it's official, they're out of the sketch. So later Sunny and Tawny in the dressing room have given up hope. But Sunny realizes that she actually learned all the information she wrote on her hand and is ready to take the test and pass it. They just have to convince the teacher. And of course, this war veteran teacher that never smiles takes her time grading these tests. Sunny believes that if they could actually get the grade, they could probably get back back on So Random in time for the show tonight, which I don't know how they're gonna do that. You guys need to rehearse, you need to fix the scripts. I don't know why they think they could just go on stage and fix it. Whatever. When they get the go-ahead, Sonny and Tawny sneak into the So Random set, which is closed off. So they are really not gonna be in this sketch. In the B-plot, Nico and Grady basically get a snake, and the whole point of getting a snake is to impress a date, like make them think that they're really strong and can handle a snake, but they get too scared anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Well, this part actually involves the snake. When Sonny and Tawny try to sneak into the theater, the snake ends up crawling onto them, and they are freaking out.
Is it just me or is this rope really slimy?
Until they fall onto the stage and take on their respective roles, getting a great audience applause by the end. But if I were the audience, I'd be really annoyed. I'd be like, what the heck was that? Was that even a sketch? Whatever went on around it was probably so distracting. They couldn't have enjoyed that sketch. I wish this episode was more about them trying to get in the theater after they thought they couldn't. Maybe because the cheater type episode has happened so many times before. Like literally, I just did a Hannah Montana episode called Cheat It, where Jackson does the same exact thing. He writes on his arm the answers to a test and then later knows the answers and is able to complete the test with honesty. But I do like how the snake ends up being a B-plot, but then ends up being the thing that gets them to fall into their actual sketch. Like it means that that part wasn't for naught. The next episode definitely tugged at my heartstrings because it felt a lot more grounded than the ones before it. Like we see a lot about the world Sonny's about to be in, but now we get to see Sonny's world coming to So Random. In episode 6 of season 1, Three's Not Company, a parody of Three's Company, that old sitcom, they have a really funny sketch about nerds having a bully-proof backpack, and it ends up comically punching whoever tries to bully them.
Hey loser, give me all your lunch!
I don't know how a backpack would detect something like that. So that's why this sketch is like really up there for me with one of the best. Sonny and Tawny get invited to Chad's upcoming birthday party by a cardboard cutout of his face. And it's so funny because his voice does not match when he says the names of the characters.
I'm here to invite
Sonny and Tawny
to my Chad-tastic birthday party.
But it's sweet that they were invited. I feel like the cast have less animosity the more they interact, especially Chad, Dylan, Cooper. They're not super concerned with this whole Mackenzie Falls versus So Random drama like they were a couple episodes. They're kind of lightening up about that. And the B-plot's really funny this time because there's a security guard that goes around the set, and Nico and Grady hate him. He's like just a jerky guy. He even eats their pizza that they got delivered.
He took a bite out of every slice.
You can't prove that, no one can.
You've got tomato sauce on your shirt.
Please, I've got tomato sauce on all my shirts.
And they try to get back at this guy by putting extremely hot sauce on the pizza, so next time they order it, he'll eat all of that. But let's put a pin in that for a second. This whole episode is about Sonny's best friend from home visiting, and her personality is contrasting with the LA vibes, kind of like Sonny did in the first episode. But she's come a long way. She's kind of learning the ropes and how not to get on people's nerves, how to keep the peace in a way that only Sonny knows how. And this girl is just so starstruck.
Your Majesty, it is my greatest pleasure to meet you.
Now, Lucy, she's not actually a queen. I just said she acts like one. Okay.
And it's cool that Sonny kind of takes on a mentorship-like role and can kind of guide her through it, something that she never had when she joined. Tawny just kind of looks at her like a country bumpkin and talks to her like she's poor. I mean, Tawny has some nerve, I'll tell you that much. Not only is she like such the epitome of an LA diva, but she even insults everything about Sonny's upbringing. But she's surprised when Tawny actually is super nice to her best friend, something that she never got. And that kind of makes her jealous. Soon, Sonny feels left out, and Tawny and her best friend connect way more than they do. Chad Dylan Cooper comes to have a talk with Sonny about her whole situation, but keeps bulldozing over her to figure out if she's coming to his birthday party.
See, my best friend is in town, and
So, bring her to the party. You know, it just means 2 gifts.
And this, Sonny, is why I would never end up dating him. Like, he is kind of disrespectful to you the second he enters the room. He's more focused on himself than anybody is ever. The cultural differences are the most interesting part of this episode, especially when they go to Chad Dylan Cooper's party. Sonny wants to have a night in with her friend, but Tawny is the one who insists her friend come check out Chad's party. So here Sonny is trying to get a glimpse of home and remind herself of where she came from. But she's distracted by her best friend being so excited about where she's going and kind of trying to get her into the LA life. But she's been here, like she's struggling. She wants a break from it.
We're all going to Chad's Chadtastic birthday party.
oh, get out! Yeah, what she said.
So they go to Chad's party without her. Very disrespectful.
Come on, you two. I can't stand to see you fight. Let me sit.
And then when we get back to the Nico and Grady situation, the cop literally faints from extreme heat. They learn that they might have even killed him. The security cop definitely reminds me of the show 16. It's an animated show that was on Cartoon Network about these 16-year-olds that hung around the mall. There was a rent-a-cop that lived in the mall that kind of always kept an eye on the kids. He was more of an antagonist, and that's definitely what I see as this character. It also reminds me of Lubert from iCarly. You know, somebody that none of the kids like. When they get to Chad's party, Sonny's friend sticks out like a sore thumb. Like, she is not ready for an LA party. Like, they expect you to be chill and have all these extravagant things, but she's just pointing it out and super excited.
Oh, that dance? Don't do it here.
Okay, right.
Sonny makes a fool out of herself, and attention is taken away from Chad Dillon Cooper, even to a point where he falls into his own cake. And this is kind of where I feel bad for Chad, because he was just trying to have a birthday party, and Sonny brought all her drama into it. Although he is kind of a jerk, so it's really hard to empathize with him, especially in this episode when he doesn't seem to care about other people's issues at all. And Sonny and her friend finally get the chance to make up for everything that happened, finally admit they missed each other.
I just missed you so much, I wanted to have you all to myself.
This one was really fun because I love getting all the different perspectives of this show business, specifically Sonny's world. I never felt more immersed and connected to a character more than Sonny. Whether it's the distractions she kept seeing in her classroom, or trying to make two different groups of people get along, or even befriend this superstar drama actor. It feels like my problems are translated into the TV set life, and it makes me feel like I'm just like them, which actually feels very inclusive. I appreciate it, guys.
At the end of the day, he wasn't such a bad guy. Hello, ladies!
Season 1, Episode 7 is Pulled Apart. This episode is a lot more internet-based than we were used to at the time. This wasn't before iPhones or social media, but it was when we were peaking and starting to go on it a lot more often than watch TV. They do a great job translating this to a Sonny Monroe episode. It's another Sonny versus Tawny situation where there's this really obnoxious blogger named Sharona that everything she reports is like God. Like, she is essentially in charge of all pop culture.
Hey, look, there's a photo of me.
And we're wearing the same dress.
Who'd Sharona say wore it better?
It doesn't matter.
Sonny was shining, while Tawny was partly clunky with an 80% chance of shame? Oh. Interesting.
She destroys Tawny's confidence by complimenting Sonny instead of her. So this causes her to go crazy and shave her head. We learn that it's just a bald cap, but still, the threat's there. Sonny tries to talk to Sharona about her blog and why she should be nicer to Tawny, trying to empathize with her, being like, you know what it's like to have everybody look at you, like it's not a great feeling, like just be a person about this. Sonny's taking her Midwest ethics into the Hollywood studio. And of course, Sharona just laughs, but she never says she's gonna fix it.
You have really opened my eyes.
Wow. Well, then I'm glad I came down to see you.
Me too.
Sonny is convinced that she will listen to her, despite the fact she did not say that at all, and tells Tawny that everything's gonna be okay. But it's not. Turns out she took information that Sonny gave her about Tawny and tweeted out to everybody that Tawny is bald. Tawny is embarrassed, and I don't know why this is Sonny's problem, but she goes in the air vent where Zora usually is. And I love that Zora's in this air vent all the time. I don't know why, it's just such a funny character quirk.
Well, maybe you would feel differently if you were wearing your favorite discontinued lipstick, Coco Moco Coco.
Coco Moco Coco?
Sonny really doesn't have to be making Tawny feel better about all this, so it's really nice to see that she cares so much to try. She even comes up with the perfect plan to make a sketch parodying Sharona. If you guys live in Hollywood, that is definitely a power move. You don't just fight with words, you fight with art and content. Something that happens a lot more nowadays than it even did back then.
No, without my computer, I lose my power.
Sharona watches the sketch that's essentially mocking her, and she is angry. After the sketch, Sonny and Tawny get a note from her, and while they think it's gonna be good news, it turns out to be a threat through meat.
She wrote things on the meat.
Meat. Dead. You're
dead meat, she's threatening us.
While this payback doesn't work, they all show up to the No You Didn't famous person event just to show Sharona up. Kinda like to be like, yeah, you can't stop us. They all wear the same exact blazer and suit she does, and I guess that's the most embarrassing thing you could have happen.
Oh, how I loathe when people wear the same outfit.
perfect karma for them to give her. This episode's really interesting. The one thing that it touches on that I feel like most other shows don't is this adult versus kid, social media versus consumer energy, where Sonny is trying to be authentic, actually get something out of this woman, but she's an adult, she's a businesswoman, she knows that you can't be nice, so she kind of takes advantage of Sonny. I feel like most of these episodes are Sonny being taken advantage of because of her lack of knowledge of where they're kind of at.
If they can't take it and you can't text it, they shouldn't go outside.
Well, she's not going outside. Who? Tawny. Ha! Okay, yes, it's Tawny.
Watching this as an adult definitely makes me empathize with her a little bit more. It's one thing to just have an issue with somebody your own age, like Sonny and Tawny, but to actually bring up a problem to an adult and have them turn it back onto you, and not only not reward the communication skills, but punish it like Sharona did. It's just unfair, and it's not cool, and it's not how the world should be. The B-plot is really not interesting this time. It's all about trying to get Chad Dylan Cooper a present, and he is just so in his own world.
Thanks for the memories, your pals Nico and Grady. Do I know a Nico and Grady?
So season 1, episode 8 of Sonny with a Chance, we got Fast Friends, and the opening sketch is actually pretty creative. Two old women boxing, but instead of actually physically assaulting each other, they're using old lady stereotypes to compete.
Round 3, talking too loud at the movies.
He's the bad guy!
And it's pretty short, but it's definitely like one of the better sketches, I would say. This whole episode is about Publicity. Tween Weekly, which is the pop culture TV show for tweens, is doing a short documentary on Sonny Monroe as the new kid in Hollywood. Her whole thing is she's trying to look good, but Tawny is essentially like, you have to watch out, because if you say something wrong, you can get really bad publicity. In the B-plot, Grady and Nico basically take all of Tawny's personal belongings and sell them. They use this really dramatic lighting in the prop house when Nico and Grady are talking about a video game console, and it's so crazy to think how outlandish this show can get.
I just want us to raise enough money to buy that new gaming system. The Y-Box 4000. 40 gigabit graphics. $1,200. That we don't have.
And yet everybody here is complaining about the Nintendo Switch 2 being $450. Chad Dylan Cooper is pretty much the antagonist of this episode. At first I didn't think it was going to be about him, but then it ended up being more about him and Sonny publicly fighting in front of the camera. And it's really funny because Chad actually does not act like himself every time a camera is rolling. And this actor is just so good at playing a conceited kid. Like, I do not believe this guy exists outside of this character. His whole thing apparently is that he publicly kicked a puppy, so there's a bad image of him on the internet. Every time they record Sonny and try to interview her, he kind of interrupts, bringing a puppy he apparently rented to show Sonny. And Sonny actually falls for it. She thinks he's being genuine for a moment, which I don't know how she believes that. Like, he clearly only does it when a camera is physically pointed at him. Okay, but then there's a plot twist. When Sonny finds out that Chad is being fake, she calls him out on it, and the guy at Tween Weekly records that instead.
You poser! You are the most shallow, self-absorbed, conceited jerk face that I've ever met. And you know what? This is my room, and this is my interview, and this is my foot, which is gonna kick you in the butt if you don't get out of here.
And it goes on the news, because back then, social media wasn't a big thing, so you actually looked on TV for any celebrity info, which is hard to imagine now, because it really doesn't matter now. There's so many famous people from all these YouTube channels and doing all this stuff that it's not like we only have a limited amount of stars anymore. I feel like every 10 people in this country are TikTok famous. So not only are Nico and Grady stealing, but they are doing it in style. They literally dress in all black, hide in the prop closet, probably another crime, and are not afraid to cover their tracks when they take all of Tawny's stuff. I mean, at this point, they're asking for it.
Fire up the computer. The junction was filled with all this great Tawny trash.
Nico, I have no idea what you are talking about.
Oh, I also have no idea what I'm talking about.
Chad and Sonny talk to this girl that seems like a background extra, and they keep talking over her, not allowing her to have a single line, which means it's confirmed that she is a background extra. This poor girl thought she was gonna get so much screen time, but it's all about the other characters shutting her up. In one final publicity stunt to win back her reputation, Demi pretends to be building dog houses just like Chad Dylan Cooper and tries to look like a better person. Off camera, he basically warns her that he's never gonna look bad, and then she is able to record it on her hat cam.
And you tried to make me look bad, and you just couldn't. You're just too nice. And I'm too good at pretending to be nice.
Smile into my hat.
But also, I feel like recording people without their consent is definitely a crime, too.
Well played, Monroe.
Props accepted.
We should hang out sometime.
Camera's off, Chad.
I know.
That's kind of where the episode ends. So the next episode we have is Sonny with a Chance of Dating. And this is infamously the episode that started the Sonny and Chad relationship. We start with Sonny at the commissary getting food and runs into a handsome guy, Aaron Stone. If you guys see Disney XD shows, he's the lead of that. Sonny's attracted to him, but finds out pretty quickly that he's guest starring on Mackenzie Falls. Oh geez. Chad and her kind of get in a little fight and he notices the chemistry and is like, what's going on?
Wow. What's going on here?
Nothing.
It's beyond nothing.
It's certainly nothing to be late over. Our scene's up first after lunch. Sonny?
Chad.
But it's kind of like the first hint at something. He asks Sonny out, and what can you say? In the B-plot, Nico and Grady are obsessed with getting frozen yogurt from the machine, but like literally putting their head under the nozzle and having it that way. The security is not having it. The two get in big trouble. So Sonny's excited to go out on a date with this guy, and Tawny kind of warns her that he's not a great guy.
I'm not gonna brag, but James Conroy! James Conroy? Yes. No! No! No!
When Sonny doesn't really react to it and still wants to go on the date, Tawny approaches Chad about it. Tawny tells Chad that she wants James to back off Sonny. Chad is a little defensive, and it's clear that he's bothered that she's gonna go on a date with this guest star.
The one who's going out with Sonny tonight.
Sorry, what?
James, Sonny, date tonight.
Date Sonny tonight. James?
So where is he?
And the two kind of corner each other and are like, why are you jealous? Why are you jealous? And it's super defensive. It's interesting seeing how like they're both protective of Sonny. So when Nico Grady can't get out of this punishment thing, Zora enters saying that she wants to be their lawyer. And this is where it gets kind of funny. She approaches the cop as the lawyer from her sketch, insistent that she can be a lawyer. She tries to negotiate their punishment, but ends up making sure that they have community service to pay back.
Community service? What a great idea. 3 hours?
3 or 6.
Stop doing that!
And the dry comedy is really good in this episode. I feel like the actors are really good at being grounded for what the show is. So when Sonny and this guy are on a date, everything's going well until Tawny shows up, third wheel material. And it's so sweet to see that she's actually trying to protect her. And then when Chad Dylan Cooper also comes in, we're just surprised. These are both characters with experience of having bad intentions around Sonny, and suddenly they're the only ones trying to stick up for her.
How about you and I partake in a friendly game of air hockey?
It's not really my. Ow!
It's kind of meddling for your friends to be like, I do not want you to date that person. I'm gonna get in the way of it. That's almost like really toxic. Sonny gets flowers, supposedly from that guy, but then they turn out to be addressed to Tawny. Oh my gosh. So he really is a jerk. He just got over Sonny after one date and asked her best friend out.
Are you trying to comfort me?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Can I be done now?
Yes.
Sonny kind of has an idea to get back at him. So Tawny goes on the date with this guy, and it turns out he's just this guy that just wants what he can't have and is uninterested after one date with a girl. It's so annoying. So Sonny and Chad pretend to be on a date, and there's definitely chemistry here. Like, you could see Chad wants to be closer to her, and she feels a little too comfortable with him. Oh my god, but things take a turn for the worst when Nico and Grady come in and feel betrayed because they didn't know they were dating. And Sonny can't really explain that they're doing something, putting on a performance, because obviously the guy's gonna pick that out. And he does, he comes over pretty quickly. But to prove that it's a real date, Sonny makes out with Chad in front of him.
You're lying to us?
No.
Wait, so you're lying to me?
No. Look, would I do this if I were on a fake date?
Whoa. It's clear that the whole thing's a setup and he's embarrassed and somersaults out in the same kind of somersault he was doing in the Mackenzie Falls episode. Chad also ends up ditching to avoid his vulnerability, and the episode just ends with Nico and Grady getting ice cream from the nozzle one last time, which it's nice to have a happy ending. Oh wait, the cop arrests them. Never mind, it's not happy. I'm so excited to see where Sonny with a Chance goes from here. Like, in the rewatch perspective, I used to love this show, mainly because Chad Dylan Cooper is so funny. Like, I could probably watch this entire show just for him. But hey, I don't have to, so let's keep going. Okay, so we're on the 9th episode of Sonny with a Chance Season 1. I'm gonna give us one more episode before I talk about a lot more important things to discuss about Sonny with a Chance. Like, in what world would Demi Lovato have been able to continue the show? And where does it go in the second half?
We'll go to episode 10, I'm gonna see the reception of the video, and then we'll decide if we should proceed with another video. So this episode is called Sonny with the Studio Brat. It's about Sonny getting paired up with this Make-A-Wish child to be on the set of So Random for a whole day. It's apparently this girl's dream.
Hey, that's just Zora.
It's okay. When every day's a struggle, names don't bother you.
Something that's important to note is that they work at the studio lot of Condor Studios. It's the name of the big executive in charge of the studios, and that's where they film So Random, okay? Remember that.
Mr. Condor. Hey, big boss man, how's it going?
So this girl basically isn't super excited to see So Random. She more so wants to see Mackenzie Falls and kind of bugs Sonny to talk to Chad into meeting her.
We should hang out.
Chad, I can see you.
All right, so you can see that I'm very busy.
And she's like obsessed with it, and the way she pities herself, the self-deprecation is actually really funny.
He's very busy.
Of course he is. Story of my life.
It's like exactly the opposite of Sonny Monroe's character, who is all optimistic, and this girl is absolutely negative. Then the whole B-plot is kind of about Hollywood culture again, more so Tawny trying to fit into it because she wasn't invited to this top secret exclusive party that apparently Chad Dillon Cooper was invited to.
Oh, hey, look at that. It's me and my cast at every hot club in Hollywood. Oh, and you in a dumb hat.
So she has to kind of create a facade of a party that he can't be invited to, so it seems more exclusive. This is all to kind of fight the expectation everybody has on the comedians to not be real, not be serious, or fit into their social circle.
That's why we're going to a place so cool, so exclusive, so underground, it doesn't even exist.
We're going to Narnia?
So it's kind of deeper than what it sounds. Anyway, they use one of the sets of their sketches to make it look like an exclusive club, take pictures outside, and it's kind of like Instagram, you know, it makes you believe it.
Now, act like you don't know your picture's being taken. Yeah, that's great. Now give me obsequious. That's it. I just wanted a shot of you looking confused.
So Sonny starts to expect something's up when this girl just wants to see Chad Dillon Cooper and is just begging her the whole time.
I'm disappointed that none of you are Chad Dillon Cooper.
Well, according to the World Wide Web, we are much cooler than Chad Dillon Cooper.
This isn't about cool. This is about hot.
She still believes she's a good girl, but she keeps pushing her limit, even egging on the other cast of So Random, like Zora, which in her defense, Zora did call her evil first, and even goes so far as to tie up Sonny, and Tawny doesn't even notice she's tied up.
I know they're out, but if anybody can bring them back, it's me. Hey, what time is rehearsal?
And this is where the twist comes in. Sonny realizes that this is actually Mr. Condor's daughter and not a Make-A-Wish kid.
Oh, he brought his puppy to work. Fire him. But keep his puppy.
What? So she definitely ends up blackmailing the entire cast by making it seem like she can get them in trouble with Mr. Condor literally at any point, and convinces Sonny to ask him to get her to go to the dance with him. So weird. It's like this kid trying to meet his biggest fan. I don't know why Mr. Condor doesn't go through himself. Like, she could just talk to him. And it's really funny because when they actually have their date, Sonny has to be there the whole time. And they bring them to the basement, this top secret club that Chad Dillon Cooper is jealous that the So Random cast now got into. Such a play of power, like now that they're invited somewhere else, like he wants to be the one to have it. Very alpha energy. But I like how the two stories come together at the actual dance when Mr. Condor and Chad believe that this is an actual club. But when they do think it's an actual club, Mr. Condor's like, this is illegal.
You brought my precious angel to a Hollywood club?
Oh, sounds like he's mad at you.
Oh, no. He's mad at you, too.
Actually, Mr. Condor, it's a really funny story.
Trust me, it's really not that funny.
And they just tell everybody that it happens to be a set, which, lucky for them, I don't know how you got out of such a dangerous stunt you pulled just for, like, brief fame. But I guess they're teenagers. It makes sense that it's a little messed up sometimes.
This club is fake.
Of course it is. You don't think
I'd bring your daughter to a real Hollywood club, do you?
One of the things that kind of pops into my mind in this moment is Drew Barrymore. I'm not sure if you know her from the Drew Barrymore show or just some famous movie she's in, but she was one of those Hollywood stars that went to the clubs as a kid. Like, there's a lot of information about it on the internet. Look it up. It's just kind of like a dark tie-in to put in a sitcom setting. I like how mature the story is. It's very disheartening that this actually happened, but it's crazy to think that they even portrayed it back then. And I'd be lying if I said this episode didn't have killer jokes, like where they're bringing Chad Dillon Cooper to the club but have to have him wear a blindfold so he doesn't know the club is actually within the studio.
The club is so exclusive, nobody can know where it is.
Why don't you have to wear a blindfold?
Well, how do you know I'm not?
Like, 1, how did you get there? 2, Tawny's able to fake a security guard and take his money.
$20. Thanks.
Chad, I forgot my wallet.
Yeah, enjoy the club. And, might I say, Tawny, you look particularly stunning this evening.
Why, thank you. Chad, tip the nice man.
Oh, right. There you go. Thanks, man.
Genius. Now that we've covered 10 out of 20 episodes of Sonny with a Chance Season 1, let's jump into some things I realized about this show.
The very first episode drew in 4.1 million, and the second episode about 4 million, putting the show among the top cable programs for that entire week. It was a really strong beginning, on par with the other Disney launches, and it actually outperformed Disney's debut of Jonas, which happened a few months later, which means Lovato's star power was almost more popular than the Jonas Brothers.
She's a singer, she is an actor, she is a fashion icon.
In June 2009, Disney renewed Sonny with a Chance for a second season, just before it even finished its first. And then the LA Times kinda noted that the shows were pitched like a high school play. Around this time, she also released her own debut album, Don't Forget, and that was with Disney's label, right when she was about to do Princess Protection Program with Selena Gomez. This was like all cross-promotion for the channel. She even sang the Sonny with a Chance theme song. So how do we know for sure if Sonny with a Chance was a genuine success or just an incredible hype up and letdown? And I know it's early to talk about this, but it's a part of the show's history now. Demi was juggling sold-out concerts and recording albums with Camp Rock's success while carrying this whole TV show. In early 2010, Sonny with a Chance began its second season. The show's originally run ultimately spanned from February 2009 to January 2011. And Demi was fighting some really private battles, even as Sonny Monroe kept us laughing. During the 2010 tour with the Jonas Brothers, part of the Camp Rock-fueled music career, Demi hit a breaking point. She entered treatment for physical and emotional issues. In October of that year, you could learn a lot more about her backstory and what she went through at that time through her own documentaries. If you type in Demi Lovato on YouTube, I'm sure they're gonna come up. The show was renewed for a third season, even though still in limbo. In November 2010, fans were shocked to find out that not only was Sonny with a Chance coming back for a third season, but they're not gonna have Demi in it anymore. Oh my god, I remember hearing that news. I loved Sonny with a Chance at that age. I spent all my time watching this show over and over again because I just wanted to be a comedian. And here, Demi's suffering because of it. Because of me. And I'm sorry, Demi. Production on new episodes was retooled and then began in early 2011. Then she personally announced she wouldn't return to Sonny with a Chance, choosing to leave the show to focus on her music and well-being. And she said there just couldn't be a better time for her to move on. She admitted that returning to the sitcom wouldn't really be healthy for her. And even though that hurts me, I'm gonna have to let her do what she needs to do. It was so sad that they had this final episode of Sonny with a Chance airing in January 2011, day of the new year, and that was the last Sonny we were getting.
Good. Good. Fine. Fine.
Disney tried to give us a consolation prize by putting up So Random, which essentially was the third season of Sonny with a Chance, but it just got fixed. But, like, it was not the same. Without Demi's warmth and comedic spark, it felt like a hollow, trying to be funny, canceled after one season TV show. So yeah, that's just kind of how it all ended. I want to imagine, like, what if Demi never started in Camp Rock? What if Sonny with a Chance was her whole thing, and she took that part without taking Camp Rock? Do you think it would have grown in popularity, maybe even quality, if it kept going? I want to believe that the answer is yes. What if she didn't burn herself out early on? What if some of these Disney executives actually paid attention to her and was like, no, we actually have to give her 4 hours to herself every day? Where's the manager that's going to remind her to meditate or take care of herself or journal? No, this was a all too real tale of Hollywood in the 2010s. Maybe she wouldn't have even had to film Camp Rock 2. She could have been an actress first, but she took on a music career, and that came a lot more naturally to her than going back to Sonny with a Chance. She was too nervous to get in front of the camera again. But singing was something she always loved, and as a Leo, I get it. But I wanted to see storylines about Chad Dylan Cooper. I wanted to see more power trips done by the characters.
Sonny?
Chad?
The chemistry between the cast was getting better in real life, and I can only imagine it would have improved over time there too. Like maybe even learn a little bit more about Wisconsin, like how Hannah Montana ended up being. I wonder what would happen if Disney took this from seasons 3 and 4, like Wizards of Waverly Place, or how they expanded, how the other shows expanded over time. What if it didn't have to rebrand to So Random? For me, I felt like the end of the show was going in a weird direction, like it lost its integrity, and I can't help but feel like if Demi was in a safe and caring environment, that it wouldn't have to be that way, that she would not be juggling a movie and season 2 at the same time, that she would fully live out her actress career, take a break, and then go into doing music, but instead, she was dealt a really bad card. And Sonny with a Chance is a reflection of that. But you know what? Everything has its place in history, and I can't help but respect it for what it all was. Who knows, maybe I wouldn't even like it if it were that way. All I know is there's something special about this show, and even though it doesn't mean a lot to a lot of other people, it definitely means the world to me. So just a few fun facts that you might find really interesting, especially if you're a numbers nerd like me, who cares about air dates and production codes. But Sonny with a Chance was interesting. 1, it was the first Disney Channel HD sitcom. Like Hannah Montana, Wizards, they all started out in this 4x3 box. Like if you watch it on Disney Plus, there'll be like little bars on the side in the episodes. Those meant they were filmed for a smaller screen. So Sonny with a Chance is one of the first shows on Disney to not have that black bar. So season 1 production ran from September 2008 to January 2009. It's about like 4 months of filming. All season 1 episodes were taped before an actual live studio audience on stage 11 in NBC Studios in Burbank. Meanwhile, I was just entering 6th grade. For season 2, they actually moved to Hollywood Center Studios. The live audience aspect contributed to the show's sitcom energy, and notably, the episode West Coast Story was the first filmed with a live audience. So that second episode. Several episodes were shot out of order, like West Coast Story was actually the first produced episode, which explains why Chad's introduction feels so immediate in episode 2. And then Sonny in the Middle, which is episode 19, actually released really early on DVD in August 2009. And it premiered in November, 3 months later. Demi Lovato even noted that her character's look, like the hairstyle, skin tone, fluctuates in the early episodes because season 1, The Heartbreak Kids, was filmed way earlier, and she looks noticeably different compared to the first 2 episodes. But I haven't noticed this, have you guys? I guess now that you say it, you could tell the shift. Season 1 was a rating success, and the mid-season episode Pranked drew 5.2 million views on its premiere, which was the highest of the whole season. So for Sketchy Beginnings, this is the first and only appearance of Pootie Tawny's beloved cat, Pootie, in the episode.
Dewey Putty Two Shoes.
Putty two shoes?
Despite Marshall promising to buy her a new one. And it's never mentioned again after the premiere. The So Random cast references a former member, Mandy, who left just before Sonny arrived in the pilot. Eagle-eyed fans will notice that the So Random promo poster shown in the prop house already excludes Mandy, suggesting an unseen episode or plot where maybe she departed. But I'm not sure how seriously they took it. It's weird that Chad isn't here in this episode, right? I think it's weird. You'll notice that Sunny mentions she got her sense of humor from her dad in this episode.
I can see where Sonny gets a sense of humor.
Actually, I get it from my dad. She's not kidding.
But we never really hear about him ever again. There is a real-life photo in Tawny's dartboard. The headshot of Sonny that Tawny vandalizes
Need another girl. I'm the funny girl and the pretty one.
is actually the one of Demi Lovato's 2008 Camp Rock promo headshots. Oh my gosh. So, Sonny looks noticeably different in the cold open scene, like darker brown hair, slightly different styling compared to the rest of the episode, since the intro scene in Wisconsin was filmed months earlier for the pilot. Demi's appearance changed by the time the actual show was shot. It's a small visual cue, but it's really interesting to connect its pilot filming to what ended up being the final product. Oh, the second episode, West Coast Story, is a cheeky nod to that old musical West Side Story. And it's funny because, you know, So Random and Mackenzie Falls has that feud. Okay, so I'm actually realizing this after doing the review on the episode, but Chad's whole Zac Efron vendetta, it is continued throughout the whole series.
Why is Zac Efron up there?
Because it's my wall, and I like saying I banned Zac Efron. There will come a day when Zac Efron comes knocking on that door and he's like, hey, can I come in? I'll be like, oh no, you're banned.
Now be a gracious loser and shake Mr. Efron's hand.
And it's kind of funny how specific the hate is. Did you know, like, during the episode Sonny at the Falls, Disney released actual Mackenzie Falls minisodes online, including a faux Mac Falls season finale on the bonus DVD?
This is your night. If it was my night, Chloe would be here. If it was my night, none of those people would be. If it was my night, I wouldn't keep feeling like it's just not my night. It's just not my night!
I didn't realize the episode 4, You've Got Mail, was a spoof of that old rom-com You've Got Mail from 1998. It's also a reference to the AOL email alert. I don't know if the 2000 kids remember You've Got Mail. You've got mail. Oof, and the episode Cheater Girls? That is one of only 3 episodes in season 1 where Chad Dylan Cooper doesn't appear at all. I never realized that at all. Oh, and I'm sad to learn that Sonny's friend Lucy, the one that visited from Wisconsin, never actually visits again or makes another appearance in the show, which kind of makes the lore feel weird. In Sonny in the Studio Brat, the girl dancing with Nico is Dallas Lovato, Demi Lovato's older sister in real life. Isn't that crazy? It's a really quick cameo, so you'll probably miss it, but fun Easter egg for fans who like Demi. So I've been talking a lot about how Sonny with a Chance could be mistaken for a parody of SNL. Which brings me to the sitcom based on a show about SNL, 30 Rock. Both Sonny with a Chance and 30 Rock center on the chaotic behind-the-scenes world of a sketch comedy show, but they both target different audiences and tones. Disney Channel's Sonny with a Chance from 2009 to 2011 was explicitly influenced by 30 Rock's premise. It's like 30 Rock for kids. Fans of the show have echoed this sentiment, and note that Sonny felt like a 30 Rock style workplace comedy tailored for tweens. Despite the shared DNA, the two series diverge greatly in their episode structures, character dynamics, and satirical bite. The comparison offers insight onto how each story handled its recurring themes, ensemble cast interactions, and media industry satire. Something they both did really well. So episodes of Sonny with a Chance typically revolve around the day-to-day hijinks of producing a teen sketch show, So Random. often focusing on Sonny's efforts to fit in and succeed in show business. A major recurring theme in this is the so random versus the teen drama Mackenzie Falls. A lot of the plot points involve the two shows going against each other or something prank related. For example, like when they're both nominated for the Tween Choice Awards.
At Mackenzie Falls. In your face, Mackenzie Falls! Yeah! Oh yeah! In your face, we won! And you thought we'd lose, but guess what? We won! What I meant to say was thank you.
The Rivalry produces stories about one-upping another person or rigging or sabotaging people, and shows that Sonny's super optimistic as she's trying to get everybody to get along. There's also her budding romance with Chad Dylan Cooper, which introduces typical teen show themes of jealousy, misunderstanding, and then in Sonny with a Chance of Dating, Chad becomes jealous when Sonny goes on a date with another boy, showing that he has feelings. Whew, but we're not there yet. Many of the episodes balance Sonny's personal life, like friendships, crushes, and Midwestern family visits. Overall, Sonny's plots are self-contained, and the conflict usually is resolved neatly by the episode's end, often with the slapstick gag or a heartwarming note, like the Disney formula of fast-paced stories with positive finishes. 30 Rock's episodes, by contrast, delve into a more complex and funny storyline centered around running a live show. The show's humor is often meta and industry savvy.
What a rush! You are horrible.
With Liz Lemon dealing with her outrageous crises and dealing with the star's antics, all while listening to the corporate interests of the company. It's about network television politics and Liz's struggle to have it all in work and life. Many plots are jam-packed with the pop culture parodies and long-running inside jokes. Like when they did a Survivor type episode or a reality TV show episode like Queen of Jordan. And they also like to weave in B and C subplots like a Disney show would. I feel like the themes are celebrity ego, network absurdities, and personal issues. The Sonny cast is a tight-knit group of young comedians, each fitting a broad comedic archetype benefiting the Disney sitcom. Like Sonny is the optimistic newcomer, Tawny is the glamorous diva.
I never know how I feel unless I'm looking at myself. Apparently, I feel terrible. And pretty.
Who initially resents Sonny for stealing her spotlight as a blonde Queen Bee type character, and Tawny is portrayed as a vain and conniving person, but she softens into a loyal friend over time. Their dynamic evolves from rivalry to sisterly-like friendship, offering the show both conflict and a positive female friendship. Sterling Knight, Sonny equivalent prima donna star, and on The Rival Show, he's depicted as this egotistical teen idol.
All hail Mackenzie Falls. To me, Chad Dylan Cooper.
Chad and Sonny's love-hate chemistry drives a lot of the series' later tension, like their banter and eventual romance is kind of the highlight of the show. Then of course they round out the cast with some funny ensemble members, like Nico and Grady, who just seem like they're just there to be there. And Zora being this really confusing hybrid of an elf and a genius. I never know how to categorize Zora.
Another case won by Sally Jensen, kid lawyer. I fight for you!
Unlike many Disney sitcoms, this is kinda like a workplace comedy. And they're both about creative collaboration, show business, and then they get to do meta humor on both shows. By the end of the show, it kinda ends up being more of an ensemble-like show, kinda like 30 Rock inevitably always has been. But despite its success in the tween crowd, Sonny with a Chance left some room for improvement. And looking at 30 Rock, I think we could tell a little bit more of what could have been. One clear difference is the complexity and sharpness of the humor. Like 30 Rock quietly evolved into a complex, hilariously layered, sharp as tacks comedy. known for its like witty dialogue, running gags, satirical bite, and Sonny often relied on broader gags and more straightforward plots, one that would be done in Disney Channel. Mainly focusing on physical comedy, like pies and faces, or costumes, simplified conflicts, or underestimating the audience's ability to appreciate more nuanced humor. 30 Rock demonstrates that even in a show about a show, one can weave in clever meta humor and funny jokes without losing the audience. Sonny might have benefited from occasionally pushing its comedic boundaries to a show kind of like Teen Nick would do, like a Drake and Josh joke, or a Zoe 101 joke. Maybe even more inside jokes about just being a part of Disney Channel would have made it a lot more authentic. One critic noted that Sonny's jokes tended to privilege sights over words. Another lesson is maintaining the consistent tone across demographics. Like 30 Rock was really good at being absurd, heartfelt, and sincere all at the same time, with zany humor and actually peppered into real emotional connections. Sonny with a Chance rarely strayed from its peppy, Disney-approved tone, heartfelt moments like Sonny and Tawny finally bonding as friends, but Disney avoided deeper and more bittersweet beats that could have added depth to kind of make it more of a fun experience. Sonny could have learned from 30 Rock in balancing its jokes and its emotional tone, like fame going to Sonny's head or the pressures of having to be a role model, and actually like made a moral out of it, but it seems like it's trying to be both. Like a little bit more character development, show real consequences to Chad's ego or Tawny's insecurity behind a one-episode lesson. Like, we could have made Sonny with a Chance more engaging or rewarding to its teen audience. In terms of storytelling, 30 Rock also kind of excelled at the long-term payoff, recurring jokes and the evolving relationships, but Sonny was more episodic and often would reset the progress by next week. The show's sudden end after 2 seasons meant that some storylines, like Chad and Sonny's romance, were left unresolved, and even before that the series wasn't building toward a larger narrative anyway. Learning from 30 Rock, Sonny with a Chance could have planted more running subplots, or like callbacks to earlier episodes, to create like its own lore or continuity. Fans of Sonny craved this, and you can tell because people still like this show years after. Sure, it's not the best Disney show. Sure, it's not in the top 10 Disney shows. Sure, it's not in the top 30 Disney shows. But Sonny with a Chance is good. Perhaps the one biggest lesson I would say is over-sanitizing the jokes. Like, the reason people watch Teen Nick shows a little bit more than Disney Channel shows is because it has that sense of edge, that sense of real-world experiences. It's not speaking to me when I was a 16-year-old. I outgrew it. But let's switch the shift a little bit. I want to talk about what it did better for the youth audience, because 30 Rock was for everybody, but this was for the tweens. So what did the tweens think? Sonny had its roots in the youth-focused format, because it was a part of the Disney ethos, which set it apart from a lot of 30 Rock's more cynical style. First, Sonny with a Chance provided a wholesome entry point for the showbiz satire for kids. It was less intense, there was less real-world consequences being displayed on a kid's show. There's just stuff you can't even comprehend as a younger kid watching this. Like, we just wanted to see something that actually we could relate to. And this was like the first time we saw a comedy about making a TV show. It was kind of a novel idea back then, and Sonny with a Chance packaged its bright sets and goofy skits to keep its fun. And the show's sketches are a key differentiator. Like, unlike 30 Rock, which rarely shows the sketches, Sonny actually shows us all of them, and they're always so relevant to a kid's issues, although younger than the audience insists. And Sonny was just overall more optimistic and positive, which can be seen as a strength. The Disney Channel environment isn't necessarily a bad thing. We don't have to see the dark parts of the world. We don't have to get really in-depth with our character relationships. We're just here to have fun and then kind of make something else next week. I feel like Demi Lovato's confidence and leadership make her a really worthwhile role model for young viewers. That's what Common Sense Media said.
I'm no weatherman, but I looked outside this morning and there was a chance of sunny.
Sonny!
Sonny? Sonny? What am I doing here?
That's right, we're jumping back in to Sonny with a Chance, one of my favorite Disney Channel shows. My last video, going over the first 10 episodes, did amazing on my channel. Like, I was so happy with the outcome that I'm like, I definitely have to finish this off and then do the second season. So today we're going to focus on finishing the first season of Sonny with a Chance. And these episodes are such bangers. I can't believe how much funny moments they got to fit into a show. And why is it so good, you ask me, Johnny 2000? Because it keeps the cynicism of Drake and Josh or iCarly, but also feeds into a lot of the positive traits, where the characters aren't like ridiculously horrible to each other and there's no crimes going on set. So I guess this is a good one. So why don't we go together over the final episodes of Sonny with a Chance Season 1 and see if they really hold up. What's up, everybody? It's Johnny 2000, live from Pacific Coast Academy. Yeah, they let me back in. So Sonny's been through a lot after those first 10 episodes. She just moved into LA. She's trying to find her groove with Tawny, Nico, Grady, Zora, and feeling a little bit romantic toward Chad Dylan Cooper. And everything just blows up in this season, giving the fans all what they want. I mean, the first season fans, I guess. And despite the fact that Demi's hair constantly changes, giving us some really weird insights to the production versus air date order of these episodes, it's still a solid season.
Yeah, they also said I couldn't be this handsome, and yet, here I am.
This is like the perfect episode for Sonny Monroe. It's called Prom-misses. The whole fish out of water scenario of a small town girl going to big time Hollywood is such an easy plot, and they did the most basic episode, but they did it pretty well. It's Sonny bringing her beliefs to the studio where she's like, hey, we need to have a prom.
You mean a prom sketch?
No, like a real prom.
Like something for all of us kids to socialize with, which in today's time is really cool. I feel like we look back on these sets and we're like, wow, kids were not treated right. So to see a kid actually stand up for it and like do it within the studio, like it must have felt pretty meta for the kids that were acting it out at the time. Like, I wonder if they did have enough social emotional moments outside of this set. Like, it makes me actually wonder the conditions of how they were operating. So yeah, Chad obviously thinks that her whole dream of having a dance would be such a waste of time.
I've been to a bunch of proms, and they've all ended in disaster.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Episode 10, my hair caught on fire. Last year's season finale, my date turned out to be my long-lost sister.
Because, of course, he's a guy, he's not gonna respect the women's feelings. But Sonny mentions how it's actually really special to just get dressed up and going out for what feels like an important night.
You know, a girl dreams her whole life about going to prom and having that perfect dance with a very special guy.
And then he gets hit on the head by a faulty disco ball, episode 16.
Like, it actually really matters to her. Chad always has his comebacks, and seeing them fight constantly is so funny.
You're officially uninvited.
Well, good, because we officially wouldn't have come anyway.
Their back and forth just continues to get better and better. Like, that's something that stays in the show this whole time. The chemistry between Demi and Chad Dylan Cooper is awesome. They continue their argument through the phone and after the theme song, which is such a meta joke, and I like it a lot. Sonny comes complaining to her friends that prom needs to be a thing, and they are actually on Chad Dylan Cooper's side, which, wow, guys, real nice. Everybody is like, yeah, we never thought prom was important, and it's kind of sad to think about, but like the cultural differences between what kids are raised to believe in Hollywood, you know, like going out and doing work, getting your first project off the ground, like that's kind of the priority.
I've been working since my first diaper commercial. I'm 11.
But Sonny's coming from a place where it's like a tradition. It's something that people have done for a long time and continue to do. It also feels like commentary on like Gen Z versus millennial, where some of them appreciate older values and like to uphold some of the cool stuff that they vibe with, and then us Gen Z, like, we're just trying to be defiant just for the sake of being defiant. Like, I get that vibe from Nico, Grady, Zora, Tawny, like they're just trying to act like they know what's better. And as somebody from the East Coast, like, it is nice to make an event out of a social experience like this. Like, I don't have to pretend like I'm too good to have fun with my friends just because it
loops me in with the younger kids. Like, that's just what it is. It also kind of reminds me of Wife Swap. It used to be this reality show where they switch the mothers onto different families, and the cultural differences really stand out. And it kind of reminds me in the sense that Sonny is forcing these guys to experience something just because she finds it traditional, and they're kind of opening their arms and embracing it. Nico and Grady being the most gracious about it, and Tawny obviously holding back the most.
And I'm thinking we have a really cool theme, you know, something fantastic, something magical, something we've all dreamed about. Tawny Town!
It's genuinely sweet to see them excited and actually have Sonny have the obstacle of convincing them they need to try this. Like, it makes her seem like a really genuine character just trying to benefit everybody's lives, and I like that. It kind of is the opposite of Zoe 101, where she talks about doing a lot for other people and never does it. Like, at least Sonny just goes around and actually tries to put on a brave face and share her traditions and such. She tries to talk to Marshall about making this happen, which Marshall's kind of like the Lorne Michaels of it all, like Saturday Night Live's head runner. Yeah, he's like the guy that is the producer, the writer, and I don't know, he's just the bigwig here. And he does not believe that they should be doing this prom, which is a fun exterior villain to have. Like, the kids are on the same side, so it's more Sonny versus the executives. And like I said before, this is where it gets a little too close to realism. As we actually got older and started to learn how studio systems actually worked, content creators actually made their own videos, it became clear that putting on a performance just to record video-wise isn't necessarily a great excuse for letting kids miss out on really important events. Like, we just glorify how much fun it is to be a part of the industry and make money from doing art, but it's like, guys, we also like can put a lot of excitement toward just mundane events, like small everyday life things that actually are pretty beautiful when you sit down and enjoy them. And I'm not talking about like social isolation through phone or like deleting social media or getting away from technology. I'm just talking about doing more of that kind of stuff in a bubble together. Oh, and Sonny reports that Marshall said no and actually disappoints the So Random cast.
Thumbs off, everybody. What? I've been dreaming about being prom queen ever since you brought it up 18 minutes ago.
That makes me feel really bad. I feel like you guys definitely deserve to do social things. You're not just here to be worker monkeys and perform all the time. Sonny ends up having an idea for like this rebel prom.
A secret prom. A secret prom? A secret prom?
A secret prom?
Okay, I think we've said it enough times.
They decide to have the prom on the set, and it's so funny because Chad actually finds out this is happening because there is posters going around.
They're not much of a secret when every kid in the lot's walking around with flyers that read, "Secret prom."
Like, who's posting posters when it's literally a secret prom? Like, Sonny's advertising it as a secret prom, she's trying to make it a secret, and then suddenly somebody is printing posters. Like, that's not helpful. I'm never gonna go to that person for important things. So yeah, Sonny is trying to get away with this prom, and she uses the set to kind of put it together. And I love that they have all these resources that a normal studio would have. Like, this is such a cool playing ground for kids to get into comical situations. Nico and Grady clean up pretty good when they get ready for the prom. And it's surprising how easy it is for them to all get away with this happening. Like, them getting gussied up and dressed as if they're just there in the studio just to hang out. Like, why isn't Marshall picking up on this earlier? They try to do a slow motion entrance of Sonny in a dress, which is just such an annoying trope that is only used in older sitcoms. Like, I don't know why they're doing it. They're trying to make fun of it, but it's just unironic, I feel like. Zora comes in and acts like the stage manager for the whole prom, like bringing them to set. And I really like that. Like, they're so good at interweaving the comedy into this. Yeah, Marshall comes in as a really awkward encounter with Demi, which is funny because it's like so true. How in the world would they get away with this? She's almost immediately in trouble, going to his office, and the most crazy time for a commercial break.
We'll be right back with the Disney Channel original comedy, Sonny with a Chance.
Marshall thinks that she's just trying to do a prom sketch, so she's not actually in trouble. And this is actually the perfect solution. I feel like things always work out for the kids in this scenario, and I love that about this show. Sonny ends up distracting Marshall just so that they can get everybody onto set and enjoy this, which, why don't you just say you're rehearsing it? Sonny, come on.
We just think it's dumb.
So yeah, then we get a night in the clouds. They get a full-on set together, all these teenagers to show up, and it's actually kind of sweet. Like, it's all these other actor kids that probably wouldn't have had this experience, all enjoying a fake prom. And of course, Sonny spends all of her time trying to keep it a secret instead of actually enjoying it herself. So Marshall holds Sonny hostage in his office, so Sonny has to actually, like, get him out for the night. So the goal to have a prom already happened. Now it's just Sonny needs to enjoy it herself, which is so funny. It's just all about her trying to get there. Tawny doesn't fit in with any of the other people, which is so true. It's like, I do not expect somebody so socially deprived to fit in immediately, and seeing that she acts like she's too good for this whole thing is really funny. So Sonny tries to get to her own prom, finally getting away from Marshall, and she still can't manage to get in there. Every moment something pops up, like she spills all her hot dogs before she's able to get in. Chad Dylan Cooper literally goes to the prom before her.
This tastes good. You know where it would taste better? On your prom.
He continues to rub it in her face that she shouldn't even be doing this, and it's like, come on, you can't just be that much of a jerk, Chad. It's starting to remind me of that house party episode of SpongeBob where he had a party, got locked out of his house, and could not get back in the house. Like, that's this exact plot. And I wouldn't have thought that if Sonny didn't get mustard all over her red shirt. Like, it just makes me think SpongeBob, you know? Meanwhile, they make a comedy bit out of Zora giving Marshall horrible driving directions, so when he leaves the studio, he'll be gone for so long they could finish the entire prom. And Zora does a great job of sounding like the GPS. Like, she definitely is that.
And make a right, then a left, then a right, then 2 more lefts, then a left and a right, and a left and a right, and a left and a right.
Things get worse for Sonny as her dress is completely smothered, so she has to dress up from the props department, which is insane. Marshall ends up coming back anyway, right as Sonny gets to see her own prom, and it looks great, like it's such a great time, but she has to tell everybody to hide, like she doesn't even get to enjoy it. But then yeah, when Marshall comes in, the cast just basically says they were rehearsing a prom sketch, they get away with it once again, and Marshall's inspired and is like, wow, this inspires me to give you guys the permission to actually have your own prom. And it's like, okay, that's a crazy way to end. And they have their own little prom between just like the 5 of them, and Chad joins in, which is sweet. It's like the first like little poke at them actually being together as opposed to just fighting all the time. I would consider this, like at the age I watched it, the actual first step into developing that kind of relationship. Like that is what you would do if you like somebody a little bit more than just a friend or even just fighting. And the fact that they are alone is even more kind of deep. Like Sonny and Chad alone at the studio dancing, it's so weird. And he like kind of shows that he's growing, and then they end up making it a really fun dance instead of a romantic one. Overall, this episode's great at diving into Sonny and Chad without actually like throwing it on us quite yet. And having her try to get this prom going is such a genuine experience. Seeing the kids get away with so much is a lot more fun than I remember it being. I feel like this show does best when it's all about them and their own world and getting by the producers. Like, that's a really good plot. So the next episode of Sonny with a Chance we have is called The Heartbreak Kid, Season 1, Episode 12. And this one I actually had a lot of fun with. It's actually about Miss Bitterman, the teacher, but she kind of reminds me a lot of the teacher in iCarly. This teacher is a genuinely horrible person.
She practices scowling in the mirror. Oh, please.
I like that this episode actually starts with a flashback scene. It starts with Sonny and Chad alone in a car.
All the stars are so bright.
Yes, I am.
Which makes you wonder what the heck is about to happen. They're not together, nothing's going on. What's happening? And then we cut to present day, and that's where things get interesting. Sonny claims that everybody has a good side, and she knows people better than they know themselves sometimes.
Do me. Okay, well, first you're gonna flip your hair. When?
Very genuine of a character moment for her. And she sees that Miss Bitterman has a better side of her. So she's like, maybe she just needs a relationship. And you know who else is lonely? The runner of this show, Lorne Michaels. I mean Marshall. I do that joke because Marshall is essentially Lorne Michaels of SNL. Like, that's pretty much what it is. So she sets them up in the lunchroom and they don't hit it off at all. And it's kind of sad because like as the audience, we kind of hoped it would work out. But then the kids turn around a second later and they're somehow in love. I don't know what happened over the course of those 2 seconds.
Yeah, looks like love at first Bite!
Whatever. So then Mrs. Bitterman gets involved in their lives in a completely ridiculous way. Like, she starts showing up to set, having notes on all the sketches, and Marshall likes her too much to disagree with her.
Something's missing. Back me up here, Marshall.
Well, if you say something's missing, something's missing.
Oh my gosh. I like the concept though, because like all the kids are clearly like freaking out. Like, they have no control. They're kids on a set, for God's sake. Like, if we've seen any documentaries lately, we know that kids on a set don't have any rights. They're doing a sketch called Scotland's Next Top Model, and I find that actually pretty funny.
Today, I'm gonna show you how to wear a kilt.
Miss Bitterman actually gets pretty insufferable, like when they show up at the prop house and try to get Sonny to eat worms for zero reason, thinking it's funny. Like, that is the most boomer situation I've ever seen.
Yeah, okay, boomer.
So next time they're in class, Miss Bitterman is barely focused on being a teacher, and Sonny's like, yeah, maybe you should focus on one thing at a time, and she's like, yes, I should quit, and then she's out of there. I don't know why she quit so quickly. Well, I do know why. Hollywood is crazy, but why would you quit a teaching job like that? Ugh. It kind of makes Miss Bitterman look like a really bad person, honestly. This is like the one Disney Channel show that we are not afraid to make people look bad. The group try to split up and actually break up Bitterman and Marshall by pointing out all the flaws between both of them. Like, Marshall has a picture of him and his mother, which, by the way, is him and him in a wig. So they reconvene when it doesn't work, and Sonny knowing people is starting to look like a lie. Until she guesses exactly what Chad does, he breaks up with this girl over the phone in the same room, which is kind of insane. Chad Dillon Cooper is the nuttiest character. I could not get over it.
Sonny, sometimes life imitates art.
And she's like, there's only one person heartless enough to help us do this.
That is the last time I date twins.
So when she approaches Chad, he's like, okay, you know what? If you come to Lookout Point with me, this makeout place for teenagers, then I'll help you break them up. And she's like, I don't know how that works, but he's being vague and is like, if you want it to happen, just meet me there. Ugh, I hate when people are so vague about that stuff. So yeah, then they get to Lookout Mountain, which takes us to the very beginning of the episode where we got a little preview of what's going on, and it's good to know that they're not in a relationship. It seems like they're just staking out. Marshall and Miss Bitterman also go to Makeout Point, which is actually really gross, and I hate thinking about it. And they have Nico and Grady dress up as a monster and attack the car, leading to the couple fighting and inevitably breaking up, which I really don't know why this worked. I can't believe this. This shouldn't be the difference between people. How in the world did Chad get this right? Like, honestly, this doesn't make any sense to me. Marshall and Sonny end up having a heart-to-heart, and Miss Bitterman actually attacks the Beast, which is so funny. She's like not holding back. She full-on assaults this costume. Then we get Nico and Grady just injured by the end of the episode, which is kind of sad, and they're stuck watching Miss Bitterman acting in a bunch of plays, which is so cringe, by the way. Miss Bitterman is so annoying of a character, and I can't believe they made her this insufferable this episode. But all around, like, this was a really funny episode, like Sonny having her optimistic outlook and then everything pushing up against her to a point where she has to reduce herself to act like Chad Dillon Cooper. Like, what a crazy concept. All around, though, such a funny idea. This next episode is definitely one of my season 1 favorites. Season 1, episode 13, Battle of the Network Stars. And it is hilarious in ways you would never expect. It takes the common trope of one of the characters making a movie or film based on their life and exaggerating pretty much every detail, something that I've found funny in every sitcom I've ever seen it in. I don't know why. There's just something hilarious about it. So we start with a sketch about Lassie, the gassy dog, which is such a stupid sketch. I don't know why they come back to it so much, and it lasts like the full cold opening. And it's just the premise that this dog farts all the time. Literally, what else is there to do about it? And not only is it in this episode, it comes back multiple times. But whatever. It reminds me of I Look Alike in the sense that, like, Sonny, Grady, Nico, and Tawny come into the lunch house and find a bunch of lookalikes like them all auditioning for something. And what is that? Chad Dillon Cooper's movie.
I'm casting a TV movie about my life. Chad Dillon Cooper? The Chad Dillon Cooper story, a Chad Dillon Cooper production.
So Chad is making a movie about his battle with So Random, which is actually the funniest concept ever, and seeing Sonny get so defensive is one of the best things ever. They end up having her audition for the role of herself.
Sonny Monroe reading for the part of Sonny Monroe.
And
There's that attitude again.
And doesn't get cast as it. But guess who does? A special guest star, Selena Gomez. Yeah, so not only was she in Hannah Montana, now she's back playing the role of Sonny Monroe, which is insane. I find it funny that Selena Gomez is playing herself in this. Like, the other one, she's playing Michaela on Hannah Montana, and this one is just not even afraid to have her play herself, which is so much more funny because it's like watching her play an exaggerated version of herself in an episode about characters playing exaggerated versions of themselves. You know what I mean. And she's like really pretentious. She records everything Sonny says into a little microphone, which is one of the funniest bits I think I've seen in a kid's show. It's so hard not to compare this to the episode of Hannah Montana where her and Miley are going at each other. Like, it's about 1 or 2 episodes and they're pretty much decent enemies. So it's funny to think that it happens on both of these shows. They have Selena Gomez actually dress up as Sonny and start filming this movie pretty off the bat. I don't know what's going on in this kind of Hollywood, but that's not how quickly movies get made. It actually opens up a conflict I did not expect to deal with in this episode, and it's that Sonny and Chad clearly have feelings for each other.
It's not what the lines say, it's what's between the lines.
There is nothing between those lines, trust me.
And Selena Gomez is like, hey, like, this is what the character would do. You guys are terrible playing yourselves.
You and Sonny might be good at playing characters, but you're terrible at playing yourselves.
Which is a cool insight. I like that she stops all this stuff from going on. The references to Wizards of Waverly Place is crazy to me.
Wizard! Abracadabra!
The B-plot in this episode isn't super prominent, but it is funny. It's Nico and Grady taking advantage of the fact that they are in a movie as themselves, and they find doppelgangers that look exactly like them, played by the same actors. They just speak Spanish, and they start taking over their lives. It doesn't really go that far. It just goes as far as, like, being friends with Tawny, which is kind of a disappointment, but otherwise it is a really funny bit. Sonny and Selena end up in an all-out battle in the costume room, essentially mocking each other and making fun of each other, but it kind of feels a little meta because of the fact we know they're best friends in real life. They had that whole movie Princess Protection program together. Like, all of this feels like an inside joke that we might forget about in a couple years from now. Like, I forgot that they were this close at the time, but it is cool to think that they had friendly jabs at each other like this, that Selena can actually bring up Chad Dylan Cooper as a crush to Sonny for her to actually, like, realize it. It's kind of interesting. Sonny eventually invents a fake role on set where she just has a megaphone and starts giving them accuracy tests on Chad's script. And it's funny because obviously she's like, that's not how it happened, and keeps interrupting their performance, which is kind of a baller move. I really like that, Demi. This ends up in an extremely defensive argument between Chad Dylan Cooper and Sonny, to which Selena Gomez almost has nothing to do with. She's just like this trigger for both of them to actually get them to fight even more, which... why does this never end? And why does their relationship have to be based on not liking each other? Like, what a crazy way to start a relationship.
Oh, and remember that you hate him. You just really, really hate him. Action.
But it's so fun to have Selena Gomez in the episode playing herself, and the call-outs are really good.
Wait, so you're leaving my movie?
I don't need this. I was in Camp Hip Hop.
They even end with a sketch with Selena Gomez.
How do you know I can't dance? You gotta see my moves.
On set with like a fake Jonas Brother mock-up in the background, which you guys are not being subtle. These are definitely the Jonas Brothers. They even have the security guard of the Jonas Brothers. Like, what the heck? So yeah, it ends pretty hilariously as it started.
You've got to send me to Camp Hip Hop. It's my dream.
One of the funniest episodes for sure. Selena Gomez's inclusion as another villain is just always hilarious. It's like she doesn't even have to play a character that's like super off from her character on Wizards, so why even comment on it? And I like Sonny's approach to this episode. Like, it definitely delves into the relationship with her and Chad a lot more, taking a break from like her personal journey with So Random and almost like putting the show as a backdrop for more drama. Season 1, episode 14 is called Pranked, and weirdly enough, it starts exactly the way the 13th episode started, with a Lassie sketch, the Toot and Pooch, which I don't know who thought this was hilarious, but it's just weirdly simple sketch. I gotta admit, the tone of the sketch is the funniest part, just them acting outlandish, like a really cheesy sitcom. Like, that's the part I find the funniest, not exactly the farting pooch part. Chad comes into the prop room to warn the cast of So Random that he's starting to do a prank series called Celebrity Practical Joke.
I play crazy pranks on celebrities and I pop out and say, "You've been celebrity practical joke, sucker!" Ah!
And that they may be in big trouble, kind of like a threat. Meanwhile, Sunny doesn't really care because she sees that Fashionista, this really weird superhero, is getting a movie and she wants to audition for the part. A lot of this episode is the whole paranoid trope where So Random is pretty much scared the entire episode that Chad Dillon Cooper is going to prank one of them.
Look, here are the facts. Chad is hosting a prank show, and these shows prank their victims by using their friends against them.
Sunny's excited because she actually gets the Fashionista audition, and that's something exciting.
Stop! In the name of style, Fashionita is here!
Nico and Grady are the most paranoid. It's really funny watching Chad actually try to get to So Random. Like, I doubt he's gonna even actually do anything by the end of this episode. And she's like, okay, obviously this is going to be a prank. So Sunny gets all cheeky and insistent that this is not real.
So excited to be here for the audition that Chad set up for me.
And ends up embarrassing herself in front of the entire casting agency. So it turns out it was actually a real audition, and Sunny just embarrassed herself, and it's kind of ridiculous. I love the fact that since they're a sketch comedy group, they go about things in very pranky-like ways. It makes me assume that Chad Dillon Cooper is like trying to get onto their level and prove that he could be even more pranky than they are. It's just weird to think how many shows had like prank episodes. I feel like Big Time Rush had like a huge one that went on for like 3 episodes, but like what was it about the 2000s that made us just want to prank people? Chad gets upset with Sunny because obviously it was a real audition and she blew it. So he's like, okay, now this time I'm actually going to prank you all really bad. And it's like so much worse. Wow, really not fun. Tawny, as the horrible friend she is, tries to get the Fashionista audition from under Sunny's nose by talking to Chad. This makes Nico and Grady think that she's in cahoots with them, and now everybody becomes a lot more paranoid with each other. This is one of the most cynical Disney Channel shows. Like, they have like Drake and Josh energy, the way they kind of mock each other, prank each other, and how people in this show are kind of going against each other for pretty negative reasons. Sunny is tired of the paranoia because it turns the whole cast against each other and tries to get Chad to call off the whole thing. But too late, Chad set up the ultimate prank, and Tawny's audition as the Fashionista ends up being the actual prank. So now Tawny is like not expecting it at all. And this is one of the funniest twists ever. So Sunny comes to stop this whole prank from happening, and Chad realizes that he's actually the one being pranked, and the entire setup for the audition isn't his prank, but it's Zora's prank on her own show, and she was getting everybody paranoid the whole time. That is the funniest twist I think I've seen in a kid's sitcom ever. Like, what an unnecessary, ridiculous trope to have happen. And I love that it's Zora because she hasn't really gotten a lot of shining moments, and this is like definitely the perfect one for her. It kind of reminds me of the episode of Drake and Josh where Megan was going to prank Drake and Josh, so they got all paranoid, and it was all about anticipating this one intense prank that never ended up happening. And poor Chad Dillon Cooper gets the worst of it all by the end of the episode, which makes this episode feel like a win. All around, really funny. And I love that they bring the sketch comedy show into the zeitgeist of the show and actually use it in their favor this time. The characters' horrible intentions definitely come out in this, but in a really funny and light way, and Sunny is still keeping the show bright with her optimism, making it feel like it's still trying to be a genuinely good experience. Yeah, all around, I love that Sunny with a Chance did a good take on this whole prank show trope that sitcoms were doing at the time, and it was definitely really funny. Episode 15 is called Tales from the Prop House, and I like this episode a lot. It shows us a lot about the characters because the prop house is a central location and it's threatened to be taken away pretty quickly. Marshall tries to sing the news to the cast.
Kiss the prop house goodbye.
trying to just make them not depressed about the situation, but of course they're just not happy. He gets them 24 hours to pack up and leave, which is not fair at all. There's like a moment where he's like, oh, I got you an extra hour, and everybody's like, well, we thought you were gonna give us the prop house back. Well, whatever. Quickly, it becomes a sort of flashback episode, like iCarly I Bloop or Victorious Blooptorious, you know, like one of those clip shows, but the unique thing about this one is they're not recalling memories that already happened. If anything, they're going over sketches we've probably never seen before. And I like the way it's formatted, like it's all a part of a plot line, and seeing all the different props led to different sketches being revealed. Like that's the way you do an episode like this. Like you keep progressing the story, and as long as the clips are relevant to something nobody's seen before, it feels like a great continuation of the series. It's crazy to think that they would have even tried to do a flashback episode in the first season of this show. Like, there's not even enough moments to look back on, just 14 episodes worth. Like, what? Seeing the sketches, like the Check It Out Girls in its entirety adds a lot of context to like what makes them appealing. Like we see Nico, Grady, and Zora in a sketch as if it is like this SNL type show. It actually adds to the immersion in a way that I can't really describe. Like it just makes it feel like it's a real show. Chad Dylan Cooper checks in on the cast like he often does, and we think he's going to have empathy for them for losing their prop house until we learn, oh my gosh, he's the one that's kicking them out. They're going to turn it into a Mackenzie Falls room.
What a great show we have. What great actors we are.
Which is really not cool, Chad. Like, you're gonna give it up for 5 people just so you could have something better. It gets really funny when Chad actually comes in with a full-on crane ready to take down this whole thing, like, by himself. So it's more than personal. The gang locks themselves in chains to the prop house, so that way if they take it down, they're going down with it. It becomes like a huge protest episode, which I think Sweet Life did way back in the past. That's when we get a bunch of more sketches, like Dolphin Boy comes back with an actual full-length sketch, which is kind of funny. I like this one a lot. And Annoying Girl.
Nothing's more annoying than annoying girl. Annoying girl.
I'm not annoying, you are.
Which is a Zora character, not seen one of those before, being obnoxious in a movie theater, which is a really funny sketch. Like, she ends up having a full-on dentist equipment in the back seat and is just so obnoxious. That's actually a really funny sketch. Later, they end up taking over the prop house, needing to lead the gang to the next plan. They find blueprints to the new renovations, where Chad and all of his co-stars get to have a meditation group. They learn that their prop house is actually going to be above the meditation room. Therefore, they cut a hole in the ceiling and start acting really obnoxious to them. It's kind of a funny bit. Chad tries to pretend that he doesn't care and he just wants to keep the prop house and has to go to great lengths to kind of do so, like wearing a full-on construction hat. And the whole situation gets solved pretty much after he runs away screaming. Marshall's like, hey, you guys got it back, and not much has changed. Chad comes in at the end to apologize to everybody, which is pretty insincere.
Wow, it's a signed picture of you.
But it's kind of a sweet gesture. I guess he didn't really need to do that. And yeah, so it's just nice to see Sonny lead the full-on protest in this episode and actually see everybody attempt to try to keep the prop house. The ending of the episode has Nico and Grady actually breaking through the wall thinking they're protesting Mackenzie Falls, but ends up just destroying their own prop house. And that's kind of how it ends. Really funny. Tales from the Prop House. Now, season 1, episode 16 is called Sonny in the Kitchen with Dinner, and this actually was included as a secret bonus episode on the first Sonny with a Chance DVD release, Volume 1. It came with 5 episodes and said that they had an unreleased episode on there, so clearly I was at FYE, For Your Entertainment, this DVD store from the 2000s. First day, and I bought this DVD just to find this specific episode. And it was really jarring because a lot of it takes place at Sonny's house, which you don't expect, and it's about Tawny. Tawny basically fawns over this guy. That's so random, and Sonny is like, oh, go for it. But this guy is a little too humble. He's like down to earth, and that is the opposite of what Tawny is.
Okay, you are now free to ooh and ah.
So Sonny has to essentially teach Tawny how to be a down-to-earth girl, which is exactly what she would do because she grew up in Wisconsin. The B-plot's not as interesting. I'm just realizing the last couple episodes didn't even have B-plots. Nico and Grady realize that Chad has a full-on sandwich at the Condor Cafe, and everybody is jealous. They're like, why don't we get a sandwich? And there's a lot of funny puns in here, like ordering a sloppy Jonas, but their whole goal is trying to create the perfect sandwich so so they would put it on the menu. I swear, Sonny looks like she's wearing a wig in this episode because her hair just keeps shifting and shifting, and I can't tell if it's the first season or the second season because that's usually how I tell. Like, it's always the hairstyle of the main character, and this is confusing for me. They go to the Staples Center, which I actually find really funny, and on this date, Sonny actually joins the two, giving Tawny a bunch of advice and trying to keep her humble throughout this whole thing. It's really awkward, though, because the kiss cam comes on and actually gets Sonny and Tawny's guy.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Sonny ends up kissing him, which is super awkward, and I kind of agree with Tawny here. Like, they didn't have to kiss just because they were on the kiss cam. Like, why did they need to do that? But yeah, Sonny is really guilty about this. She's like, I did not mean to do this. There's nothing going on. And ooh, even Chad gets a little bit jealous. He acts really hostile toward her for no reason. He's not even like a part of the episode until she kisses somebody.
Who is this guy?
The love of my life!
Then why is she kissing him?
I don't know!
Something really interesting. Nico and Grady find their perfect sandwich and start giving it out to everybody around the studio. Sonny tries to sell Hayden, which is the guy Tawny likes, on Tawny.
Tawny Hart is the most down-to-earth, unpretentious, regular girl you will ever meet.
And is like, hey, let's try to get you guys together one more time for a nice classy dinner because Tawny is really good at making classy dinners. So that's when she decides to host this whole date for Tawny at her own house, where she will stake out in the kitchen, make the food for her, and make Tawny look good. Because now, essentially, Sonny owes Tawny because of all the embarrassing kiss cam mistake. Yet Tawny does a horrible job at acting like a normal girl, like acting overly southern.
Ooh, this is my jam!
You actually like this music?
Apparently I love it. I've got a box set.
And the stakes actually rise pretty well. They can't get enough food for them to eat at dinner, and it's gonna look like a disaster if Tawny can't give Hayden any food. So, Nico and Grady come in and bring in their sandwiches. Great timing. I'm so sick of watching Tawny try to tap dance and distract this guy. Things get more intense with Sonny when she falls out the window, gets locked out by Hayden, and now Tawny is blind.
Hayden? Oh, great. Now I lost both contact lenses.
And everything is so chaotic because now Tawny can't help Sonny, and Hayden is like barely falling for all this. Nico and Grady get into the kitchen and somehow all get around this kid. I don't know how in the world there's this many people in the apartment and nobody's acknowledging it. Even Chad Dillon Cooper shows up thinking this was just gonna be a date with Sonny and Hayden. Ooh. So he looks guilty. Like he has got a crush on Sonny. The sandwich plotline is able to be wrapped up because Chad tries the Nico and Grady sandwich, is like, oh, this is actually kind of good. And Tawny has a whole speech to Hayden on why she loves who she is, which is like, this guy just thought he was hanging out with one girl. Poor this guy. In the end, Sonny and Tawny have a hug, which is nice for their relationship because it's really clear that Sonny cares a lot about her and is willing to do a lot, and Tawny loves her back. Like, it's clear she just doesn't know how to communicate her emotions, which is okay. It's just toxic sometimes. So yeah, that's essentially Sonny in the kitchen with dinner. I love that it was like one of those non-conventional episodes that didn't air on the TV first. It made me really excited to watch it, and all the storylines. It's so fun, like Chad having a crush on Sonny, Nico and Grady in the sandwich, and Sonny trying to cook dinner for Tawny and this guy culminate all at the same time. It's definitely a nice sitcom moment. Episode 17 is called Guess Who's Coming to Guest Star, and you'll never guess who it is coming to guest star. Yeah, it's Chad Dillon Cooper. At first they think it's this guy named Jackson Tyler, which is like a parody of Edward Cullen or Robert Pattinson because they mentioned the Twilight series a lot. Extra points for their relevancy to the social media. And this episode is actually really funny. Like, to think that everybody has to readjust their lives to add Chad Dillon Cooper to this is crazy. In the B plot, Nico and Grady are kind of getting a taste of the entertainment industry. Like, they sit in Marshall's chair and start ordering around his employees, and just, I guess for some reason, everybody listens to him. Sonny is kind of a bully to Chad. Like, I get it. You don't want him to be here for this week's show, but she's just like over the top making fun of him. Chad warns her that she's going to fall in love with him by the end of the week.
I should give you a heads up about something.
Yeah, sure, what's up?
By the end of the week, you're gonna fall in love with me.
which is kind of crazy. It's almost like a threat the way he's saying it, and you're kind of like, what does he mean by that? And that's Sonny's confusion this whole episode. Even Tawny is like kind of mocking her for this and like being like, maybe she will. So yeah, Sonny's in the sketch with Chad this time, and it's actually really funny because he does not fit into the comedy world super well, and you'll never guess what the midpoint plot twist is. It's that Sonny actually believes she is falling for him. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. He was like literally right about everything. He keeps telling her it's when she looks into his eyes, which makes her want to avoid looking into his eyes most of the time. It actually prompts her to wear a sombrero during the rehearsal of their sketch so she doesn't fall for him. And the sketch is kind of random. It's like he's an EMT and she just like falls for him, which I don't know what's funny about this.
You and I, no kiss. Not now, not ever.
You two are gonna kiss.
What?
Sonny tries to convince Tawny to do the sketch instead of her, which is actually really funny because it's like just the fact she believes she couldn't possibly not fall for him by looking into his eyes is ridiculous. Tawny reveals that she's actually kissed him in the past, which is kind of a shocking backstory. Turns out he had a different name, like Goldfarb or something. I love that. Chad has like a secret previous life, and apparently she's able to resist him, but it's still a funny backstory.
I already fell for him once. It's like chicken pox. I got it as a kid, so I can't get it again.
Now they have to kiss, which is insane. The fact that Marshall like rewrote the script to make it even more graphic is weird to me. Nico and Grady still have a fun time being the executives. They even have trampolines in their offices, suits that match their outfit. I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation. They find themselves realizing how hard Marshall actually has it when he's like, oh, Tawny demands her Coco Moco Coco, which is this brand that she constantly gets. Everything culminates as the actual EMT sketch is getting ready to be performed. Nico and Grady have this pig that they carry around, and they can't even deal with Tawny's demands. Like, they actually beg Marshall to come back. And Sonny, it looks like things are gonna go pretty bad for her because she has to go through with this sketch.
I'll kiss you for real when pigs fly.
Until this pig that Nico carries around ends up being thrown into it and kisses Chad instead of Sonny, which is such a funny plot twist. Like, they managed to make it still be a comedy bit, which actually works for So Random. Like, they have a lot of So Random things happen, so of course this is gonna happen. For me, I can't really tell who's winning here. Like, I think Sonny just came to terms with the fact that she might have feelings for Chad and is in denial about it, but they ended up doing a good sketch. So I guess there's a lot of wins and losses in this episode. It does sometimes feel like Sonny is the only concrete character with two sides to her, where like she actually has a good side and a bad side, as opposed to most of the characters who only really have bad sides, like Zora, Tawny, Nico, Grady. They're all just like one or two bits that consistently go throughout the episode, and it's all circled around Sonny, who actually has the moral dilemmas going on. I mean, Chad later develops more of like a moral compass as he becomes like more of a main character, but we're not really there yet. Like, this is early in the show and we're only really following Sonny's issues. All around, this one was a good one. I like that Chad Dillon Cooper became the focal point for this because obviously he's one of the best parts of this whole show. So seeing him be more involved is always funnier. Seeing Sonny actually have feelings for Chad is cool because like they don't just throw it out randomly one day. Like, they really build it up. And that's what they're doing in this episode. So guess who's coming to guest star is a good episode. Next episode is called Heart to Heart, and this episode is a Tawny-centric episode, which I was not really expecting. The main A-plot is Sonny helping Tawny with the fact that she keeps having these dumb blonde roles, like roles that make her look really bad about herself. And I'm sorry, but I'm gonna keep commenting on Demi's hair. I don't know why it's so dark at this point. It's confusing, and I'm shocked. So Tawny and her mother are like this weird best friend duo, and she's like very protective, yet Tawny is like very childish when she's around her. It definitely brings out that mother-daughter dynamic.
Where's my Coco Moco Coco?
Where's my Coco Moco Coco? Coco Moco Coco? Coco Moco Coco?
And Tawny's mom is kind of disrespectful towards Sonny, like acting like she's poor, which I'm not a big fan of. In the B plot, which is super less interesting, poor Nico and Grady always given these plots, they want to break into the bathroom of Mackenzie Falls because apparently it's so much better than their bathroom.
There it is. Chad's private bathroom.
But we have this guest star that is the new security guard, and it's the guy with the puppets. Jeff Dunham, who is actually a really great puppeteer and very funny. I saw a lot of YouTube videos on him while I was little. Like, he has this old man puppet that is hilarious, and it even plays into the episode really well. I just kind of want to know who got this guy to do Sonny with a Chance of all things. And yeah, he's replacing the normal security guard that we know, and he's obviously a big fan of Chad Dillon Cooper, which is so funny. So he has a lot of incentive to not let the boys to use this bathroom. And I don't know why their goal is so insistent on using this bathroom. Like, do they really want to go that bad? And they keep making this bathroom out to be like this beautiful, scenic, heaven-like place, which is kind of funny. Sonny sits through some of the sketches that Tawny has to do, and it's almost getting embarrassing. So Sonny kind of gives her a pep talk and almost pushes her to fire her manager. And you know what's crazy that I didn't even know? The mom is the manager. Oh my god. Sonny tries to push them together again, which is ridiculous. Then the rest of the episode is Sonny trying to bring them back.
You just need to go home and have a heart-to-heart. Heart-to-heart.
Which is the counterproductive experience that I was expecting. Sonny's mom still lives here, which I actually didn't expect. I kind of like that. Like, I feel like there's some shows where it's like you would move somewhere and you just be on your own. But Sonny having this relationship with her mom is very welcome, and I'm liking that we still have it. Tawny ends up showing up to Sonny's house, crying and upset, like it's like a breakup, but it's between her and her mom. So Sonny has to deal with all the problems because of this being her suggestion, something I find hilarious. Meanwhile, in the B-plot, these puppets are taking over Nico and Grady's life with the help of Chad Dillon Cooper, which actually is really funny. Sonny ends up being like Tawny's maid, cooking for her, making her tea, and Tawny has like this cowbell to command her to keep coming in. And it's so funny to think that she's like this complicated to deal with that her mom literally has to talk to her about it. So they start trying to push Tawny out of their house, making Tawny think that like they are as crazy and Western as Tawny assumes they are, which is funny because obviously she's always calling them poor. So it's kind of like getting her comeuppance when they're torturing her like this. They pretend to get up early in the morning.
You two wake me up at 5 in the morning. It makes me want to punch you out.
And sing songs as they clean the kitchen, also wearing team shirts, which Tawny has to pretend to like. Next thing you know, the mom comes up to apologize, taking her out of this horrible situation.
I didn't suffer in this apartment for 3 months to go back to the way things were. You were here 4 days.
I love how they just act like Sonny and her mom's life is like a horrible experience.
T-shirts with slogans? You people are sick.
Until Tawny's mom actually is able to apologize to her, and it's really sweet, ending with Sonny and her mom successfully back to their old ways. And it's so funny to think that this topic is so light because obviously Jeanette McCurdy had her whole book about her mom pushing her in entertainment, and Tawny's mom is literally her manager, so there's a little bit of a dark undertone when we're thinking about this show. And yeah, I don't know, I'm a little scared. All around a really funny episode, and the reveals are so comedically well-timed that I just think this is such a good one. Season 1, episode 19 is called Sunny in the Middle, and it starts with this really funny Gary and Larry sketch, which is just Nico and Grady talking with a bear fully doing its laundry in the background, kind of random. But they're trying to parody SNL here. Wayne's World, not sure if you saw Wayne's World, but it takes place in a basement, and it's based off a sketch that was done in SNL, and it's really funny. It's cool how they're like actually parodying it, and this whole sketch is the cold open, essentially. At first, it seems pretty irrelevant, but then we learn quickly that the episode is about Nico and Grady breaking up. Aww. So they also have the same birthday, which I wasn't expecting. Sonny ends up getting both of the kids the best gift ever, which is a funny bit. Like, we see her giving Tawny a gift and Zora a gift, and apparently she is the best gift giver.
Thanks, Sonny. It's a thing with my face on it.
Yeah, it's a mirror.
She gets them a gaming chair that actually causes them to fight physically at their own party and break up. So yeah, Sonny's decision leads to another issue. Chad ends up taking the cake, which is kind of disrespectful, and Sonny is left to deal with the boys. Zora and Tawny have a E-plot, which is actually kind of interesting, seeing how awkwardly different they are. Like, it's like popular girl and weird girl. Turns out not to even be a plot about Zora and Tawny, it's just about Zora. Zora continuously manipulates all the teenagers around her, which is kind of a win, honestly.
What? I told you that we were going to see giraffes on ice.
I thought it was a skating show, not an animal morgue.
Like, she gets Chad, Dale, and Cooper to take her out for ice cream by putting on this, like, little kid act, and she's really good at being manipulative. I don't know why. Zora gets a lot of points in my book for this.
Speaking of which, I need somebody to take me to Monkey Cars 3D tonight. Sigh.
The disagreements between Nico and Grady and Sonny trying to keep things together only escalates further and further, as shows like this will do, and it actually culminates in something even funnier. Basically, they want to see this movie about 3D monkeys in a car, which is something they both have in common, but since they devoted their lives to not being friends anymore, they each go with Sonny. But Sonny actually tricks them into going to separate movies, attending both with them. One is called 5 Weddings and a Wedding, and one is Sisterhood of the Traveling, whatever, I don't know, it's just a parody of it.
I will never be able to unsee this.
Sonny is going from 2 theaters, just trying to make these boys super uncomfortable with the movies they're watching, and for some reason, the funniest part of this episode is the movies we're listening to. Like, the audience is so engaged. In 5 Weddings and a Wedding, it literally has a song that I cannot get out of my head. I swear I've been singing this over and over again.
Yeah, 5 weddings and a wedding. That makes a whole lot of weddings.
And yeah, just seeing Sonny in the midst of all of this, trying to work between 2 boys, like, it's so obvious the way it, like, comes back together, but it's just such a funny bit watching them be tortured like this. They inevitably come together because neither of them like the movies they're in, and they decide to go off together and see the monkeys in 3D. And Sonny did it. Like, it's one of those episodes where she sets out to do something, there's not that many twists, it's just her fixing the problem, which I kind of like. It's definitely a good change of pace. I feel like Sonny's such a bright, exciting character that it's always good to see her win. There's this really nostalgic bit where Nico and Grady actually give names to people that have to call out their names, like the commissary when they're ordering food, and then they keep making like parody names, and Sonny is like not good at it at all. And I don't know why, that's just like one of my favorite bits in the episode, is just them acting like weird, immature teenage boys and Sonny pretending like she could blend in. Like, that's not gonna work. Overall, really good episode. That's when we get to season 1, episode 20, Cookie Monsters. And this one is funny because it's one of those tropes in TV shows where one of the characters belong to a Girl Scout troop or Boy Scout troop, and their whole mission is selling cookies. That's Zora's plot in this episode. And I like it. Zora's not usually in this show a lot, so seeing this be a part of it is really funny. Sonny's hair continues to be really jarring, and I'm not sure why. It just gives me some weird vibes. And of course, Sonny and Tawny disagree on everything that has to do with the Blossom Scouts. Like, Sonny thinks it's all about tradition and being respectful, and Demi's sister's actually in a flashback because apparently she was a Blossom Scout once, which is so funny. Yeah, Sonny likes it because it's about selflessness, friendship, and of course, Tawny thinks this is like a horrible, stupid idea, but also is kind of threatened that Sonny's calling her selfish.
I'll show everyone how selfless I can be. Isn't that right, me?
Sonny ends up taking over this whole Blossom Scout thing because she has her own vendetta and starts living vicariously through Zora. Zora's actually really good at it. As we saw in the last episode, she's really good at manipulating people. I don't know why it's so funny to watch her do it, because she just is so seamless with it. But Sonny is trying to be the moral one and is like, do not do that. That is not how we do it. And then we get a return with Dakota Condor.
Evil.
Chad's on her good side because, of course, she's still the daughter of the person who owns the studios.
How about joining me for lunch?
Oh, hi, Dakota. Yeah, I'd love to. Actually, I'm due on set for rehearsal.
Not if my daddy cancels your show.
Oh, what are we having?
Zora has a moment where she freaks out because she keeps calling her evil, and she goes rabid. I do not see Zora like this often, but it is concerning. Tawny ends up being selfless and not putting on makeup and, like, kind of cutting back on everything and becomes super atrocious, making Nico and Grady uncomfortable, that must be hard to do.
Salutations, gentlemen. No!
So she's become this new Tawny. Sonny ends up leading the troop with Zora until we learn that Dakota is actually teaming up with Chad, which he looks really good in this pink button down. I don't know why this is like so Chad's look. And next thing you know, it's just a battle between them trying to sell the most cookies. And it gets really funny watching them try to one-up each other and Sonny actually giving in to the fact that they need to be a little cunning in order to sell more. Sonny gets aggressive, and the same Blossom Scout leader is the one Sonny knew, which is kind of crazy, and she favors Dakota, triggering Sonny so bad. So yeah, they keep using the morals of the Scouts against Sonny, leading her to being pretty depressed. Zora even gets kicked out of the Blossoms, which is even crazier. Zora runs to hide in her spot in the vent, which is so cute. And we get more Sonny flashbacks explaining why she got kicked out of the Scouts. And I don't know, I'm kind of losing trust in Sonny. Like, this is such a random part of her childhood that I don't think is making her character look better. The woman ends up breaking her ankle, and Zora helps save the day, giving Zora her spot back at the Blossom Scouts. It ends up in another fight with her and Dakota, which is so funny, like these two kids cannot stop beating each other up. Tawny starts getting worse and worse in terms of her cleanliness.
Why so serious?
Leading to Nico and Grady actually convincing her she needs to go back to her selfish ways. Kind of a random backpedaling, but okay. And we learn that Zora, Dakota, Chad, and Sonny have exactly tied in this whole cookie selling competition. So yeah, everybody's gone too far, and Chad has the last box of like flipper doodles or whatever, so whoever sells that is probably going to be the one to win, but Chad is like, no, this has gone to everybody's head, and ends up eating them himself, which is actually kind of a noble thing on his part. Chad ends up choking, and Sonny saves the day by giving him the Heimlich maneuver, saving the day and finally regaining her confidence as a Blossom Scout, which she lost years ago, and it's just so crazy that she took over Zora's life just to get her own title back. But whatever, some characters have to have flaws, and Sonny's been too positive for too long, I guess. And yeah, so that's kind of where we left off on Cookie Monsters. I really like that they take these pretty basic tropes on normal television and flip it on its head and give it such this like parody SNL-like treatment. They just do such a good job at all this. So that takes us to the final episode of Sonny with a Chance Season 1, and it's called Sonny So Far. You know what's really crazy about this? It's a clip show. I'm not sure if you saw my other video about all these clip shows that they used to do in the 2000s, but they used to basically compile a bunch of scenes together to create this celebratory moment of the show. It's usually later in the show, like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody did it as their finale, where they looked back on all the moments. iCarly used it as like a blooper reel, where they spent a half hour just going over deleted scenes. And Drake and Josh did the Dr. Phyllis show at the end of Season 3. But this is breaking one of the most cardinal sins I could ever imagine. Like having a clip show at the end of your first season. Like, we're only looking back at 20 episodes. The plot is interesting, though. They do a really good job at weaving a narrative that progresses the story to a point where you actually can't finish the season without watching this episode. The whole premise is that Sonny and Tawny's first time on a talk show. It's funny because Sonny obviously is new to this already, and the fact that Tawny's never been on a talk show kind of puts them at equal playing ground. And they find out that the host, a Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel type, I guess, anybody named Jimmy, I guess his name, he is somebody that loves to pull out the most personal and, I would say, private information from the girls.
Let's roll the footage and watch these two make a pact.
We need to make a pact. When we're out there, we've got each other's backs, okay? Right. Team Sonny and Tawny.
It really bothers me because after Tales of the Prop House, an episode we just went over, you could tell they had like a flashback-like episode. But the cool thing about that episode is it's all new footage. This is just rehashing all the events that happened maybe 5 episodes ago. I did not forget any of these events growing up. So I was very much like, thought this was a bonus feature on a DVD. I was surprised, however, halfway through this special, Chad Dylan Cooper gets invited in, and things take a turn for the worst, where Hollywood comes knocking at Sonny's door and she does not want to buy their cookies.
I'm not gonna buy cookies from you.
We get a real moment with Sonny and Chad because Chad thinks he's there to promote his book. And it's like he didn't even write the book, he read the book. Hilarious joke, by the way. And they get into a really deep conversation questioning their actual feelings toward each other because this host has a point. The host really just brought him on to create drama and provoke this conversation, because they're like, okay, let's go talk in the back. And then the host reveals to Tawny that he actually has a hidden webcam spying on their personal conversation. And good for Tawny, she can tell that like this is wrong and inappropriate, and actually stands up to the tabloids and says, no, we can't watch her and Chad and their private conversation. And that's a fun way to end the season. Like, we see them actually have a serious conversation about where they stand as like a relationship or couple, and season's over. What the heck? Classic Disney to always give us an episodic plot line so that way they don't have to continue weaving the narrative. Miss B, tell them what you think of Sunny Season 1.
I liked the episode with Chad, Dylan, Cooper sell the cookies.
Aw, thanks, Miss B. And that was a word from Miss B. But overall, like, a really good hint at what's to come in the second season, and the show kind of goes up from here. I would say I love the first season. I feel like they did a really good job at like showing us how funny it is, developing all the characters. So yeah, that was Sunny with a Chance Season 1. Does this make you actually want to go back and revisit the show? Because I swear it's worth it. Or does it make you be like, oh, I get enough from your summaries, I do not want to revisit this? Because I just wish this show just kept going. Oh well, we'll catch up again next time when we get to another 2000 show, or the second season of Sunny. So thank you guys so much for watching and your ongoing support. It means the world to me and my 2000s community. So let's just keep subscribing, liking, sharing the content. It means the world to me, guys. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys next time.
And it was all a dream.